wait until the stream shows up and see if I'm actually live before I give that fucking speech again. Oh, I am. Okay, perfect. Totally was ruined. Anyways. Many have feared this man's name from Asagao Academy. They quench every time it's said or even shown. Even he hates himself. That's right, I'm dating Shane Gills today, and I'm gonna hate every second of it. And I'm gonna get the best end, whether you guys like it or not. Fuck, don't close the fucking browser. You need to actually start up the game before you even start, Megan. Come on. Don't be a fucking cunt. Come on, start up. My viewer attention on YouTube is slowly drifting away. Ah, there we go. Wait, what? Are you not? Oh, okay. That's the reason why. Fuck that opening.
Asagao Academy. Normal Boots Club.
That's Ian. Alright, load data. As we could just skip right into the action. If you want to see any of this, go see chapter 1 and you'll see the rest of us. And some of John's route. Alright. Last one on this list. If you're wondering if I'm going to do Paul and Jared, I am. And I'm also doing the Hidden Blocks route and the Hidden route. I'm not going to talk about it because I don't want to ruin spoilers. I'm going to be doing all of them. Every single route. So stay tuned for every single route, please. Because I am doing it. But this is just the last one on this list. And I'm going to be doing Paul, the continued route tomorrow.
Shane.
Maybe I'll try asking Shane?
What?
Shane, are you crazy? He, like, hates your guts. I don't know. Maybe I have a chance? Mai looked at me steadily. Well, if you're sure, I'm sure I'll work out. This volume, it's too loud. I can't hear myself think.
What?
Go! Get your man! Wait, you mean now?
Yeah.
Yeah. Mai hit me on the back and practically shoved me towards the door. As I began to leave, my legs turned to jelly. Small pink blobs filled my vision. What? You did not miss anything. I literally just started Shane's route, Demon Max. Or Demo Max, whatever the fuck your name is. Mai tossed cherry blossom petals over my head. Go get Senpai to notice you! Mai beamed at me.
Yeah!
No time to talk, Hannah! This is gonna be your big day. You're the main character. Unless you mess up real badly, you'll definitely get a good answer. I've messed up a lot, though. Just go! With that final shove, I was out the door. Now, where would I find him? There was only one place to look. My interactions with Shane were something of routine and usually calm and quiet, punctuated by moments of uncertainty. I knew how to handle those. Now, though, my thoughts were filled like an instant display of fireworks. Nothing but smoke was coming to the surface. He was drawing as I entered the room.
Hello.
What are you drawing? My voice cracked. It cleared my throat, hands fidgeting. A flower. Oh, that's cool. I was uncomfortable. Shane's eyes narrowed. But what I wasn't sure. He leaned back to look at his rough sketch and spun his pencil in his fingers and continued where he left off.
Did you know?
Did you know? Fuck, of course he did. Did you know? That the town of Himbawa is said to be founded because of the kindness of a flower? I think Satch mentioned something about it once. I don't know about Himanawa since I haven't been here long. I'm a transfer too, remember? Oh, right. Is that why the town's obsessed with flowers? He shrugged and kept drawing. I stayed silent, hovering awkward over his shoulder. This was the perfect moment to ask him. We're even talking about flowers. Come on, Hannah, grow up here!
Hey!
Hey, so about the flower festival. My throat caught, and I coughed to clear it. Shane glanced at me and then turned back to his sketchpad. He drew 2 more lines, and in quick succession, he slid the drawing to me. I hadn't got a good look at it until now, too caught up in my own desperate thoughts. It was a detailed flower, one that I occasionally saw lining in the walkways from dorm to classroom. Yes, that's why they have the flower festival. To Hana, it was written on the top. Don't people give flowers to ask each other to the festival? At least that's what they're supposed to do. Apparently it wasn't done anymore, but...
Really?
Does this mean you want to go to the flower festival with me?
I don't know.
Maybe, maybe not. A drawing a flower doesn't mean anything. Was Shane messing with me? He crossed his arms and turned away, a slight blush on his cheeks. I have a feeling I'm gonna like this man even though I internally hate him because he's been a cunt every single time. Aw, that's a shame. I guess I'll have to go with Jared then.
What?
Oh, wait, he asked you? I raised my eyebrows at him and he sighed. Okay, I'm sorry. I do want to go with you. I was just trying to study your expressions or something. I told you I have trouble drawing girls, and here you are with a girl phrase. There's no other reason, alright? He was trying to unsuccessfully hide his face, rubbing his chin as it protruded. For once, someone's face was bigger than mine.
Yeah.
I'm perfectly fine with that. I'm just glad I get to spend time with you.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, okay, let's go together then. He waved his hand dismissively, still avoiding my eyes. I grinned. I knew those reactions. You couldn't get away with being shy around the shyest girl on the planet. Thank you.
No.
No, don't thank me. He gathered up his things, dropping them and knocking them around more than usual.
Bye.
Anyways, I have somewhere to be, so I'll see you tomorrow.
See you later.
He shot me another glare and then dashed from the room. I woke up late next morning, the day of the flower festival. I was buzzing with anticipation, but because it took me forever to wake up, I was now almost noon. And now this is the fucking scene, so I'm going to just skip it. I waited for Shane outside the Primrose house, watching the sun as it slowed its crawl towards Earth. If you guys don't realize what you missed in that scene, it's basically just, what is it? Hannah's father writing to her saying he missed her, and then Hannah writing back saying he also missed her, and that he has to be healthy. The flower festival is usually a nighttime event, but Shane asked to meet while it was still light out? Why? I didn't know what to expect or what to do. Even I was completely flabbergasted that Shane decided to say yes, to me of all people. Whoa! Look at that styling man. Was it possible he really liked me? That seemed ridiculous. But I would want him to like me? For some reason, I kind of did.
Hana.
What? Oh, Shane, you're here! I'm here. You ready to go? Yeah, what are we... Let's go. I'd like to do this before it starts getting dark. Do what?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Well, dates in the dark were kind of intimidating. Wait, was this... Shade led me through the campus in silence, and the stillness in the air only empathizes my buzzing in anticipation. Sorry, I've got a little bit of stuffy nose. It's just the morning. After a few minutes of walking, I glanced at him. He was smiling? Maybe this was a date! My chest tightened. My hands immediately grew clammy. I hadn't believed it was a possibility with Shane of all people, but I was ready. Well, I'd never be ready, but at least I was aware. They're nice, aren't they? What? Shane was pointing to the blooming flowers on the nearby tree. Quite pretty during the daytime. I tried to speak, but all that came out was a nervous, high-pitched laugh. Good one, Hana. Finally, he led me to a bench, motioned me to sit. I complied, smoothing my hair nervously as I did. Looking around, Shane brought me to a deserted part of the campus. I gulped. Shane set down a small backpack that was slung over one shoulder and sat down on the other side of the bench. He cleared his throat and stared down at his hands. I've been wanting to do this for a while. You have? He was going to kiss me already? I scooted a little bit closer to him on the bench. He didn't seem disturbed by it, but it was a good sign, right? It's not any good. I don't want to hear any complaining, okay? Yeah, of course. I drew a deep breath and steadied myself. I wanted to shout, just kiss me already! But I was already nervous around. So, should we do this? I guess? He unzipped and started to riffle through his backpack. At a time like this, really? He brought out a very small bag and then dove right back in. What was the preparation for? And then he finally looked at me and said, he's drawing me! What a fucking cunt. Pulled out a sketchbook out of his backpack. Draw me. He wanted to draw me. Still, okay? You're going to have to sit without moving for about 45 minutes. Yes, I agreed to this after all. Why else would we have gone to the flower festival together? Right. He flipped through a few pages of the book, stopping on a blank sheet. I nodded slightly, trying to keep my head in the most safe position to make it easier to draw. He didn't talk much, only the occasional grunts of concentration. Sometimes he laughed when he saw that he made a mistake and furiously erasing it afterwards. That's not how you draw. You don't draw like this. That's really hard to draw, Shane. You hold it with your hand. Oh, fuck. Why am I complaining? 20 minutes later, the light changed and the sun was setting. Shane frowned, and he held the sketch pad away from his face. I guess that's fine. I can't really keep going with the light like this. Okay. I watched him put away all his things without another word. So, was that it? Was the festival really just an excuse for Shane to draw me? Did you want to do anything else then? He shrugged. Not unless you did. Well, I did. You did. Yes, I did. I wanted to play some games and eat some food and do festival things. So are you coming? Quickly break his kneecaps. Break his kneecaps before you fall in love with him. I mean, I guess I didn't have anything else planned. If you insist and everything. I can't leave you alone out here in the dark. You don't have to come if you don't want to. Yeah, well, let's just get going. Fucking cunt! Even when we're taking him out on the flower festival, he's still a fucking salty ass bitch. We went into the stalls, silent all the while as I bustled myself. Without admitting the decorations and the light and all the Megan, fucking English is your first language, please stop. Try not to think about how I was going to spend my time with Shane. I was so used to seeing school-age people, I forgot about families and the elderly. Megan, please, are you dyslexic or something? Like, fucking hell. It was refreshing to feel that I was in society and not a school.
Hey.
So is this your first time at the festival, right? Since we're both the only transfers?
Well...
I transferred last year. This is my second flower festival. I've been around for, but the first time I've gone to. You didn't go with anyone? I was new. The festival was early in the year. I didn't have any friends then, unlike you. Ooh, he called me his friend. Quickly, bat him in the face. It looked at me like he was going to say something else, so I remained silent. He looked at me and stuck his hand into his pockets. What do you want to see? Do you want to eat something? Oh, maybe later? I'm not hungry right now, but we could check out the game stands? Unless you want to eat, I'm fine with that. I'm good. I only want to make sure your growling stomach doesn't distract me. The festival was bustling. People walked from any direction, laughter filling the lantern-lit air. Let's go to the ring booth. I'm good at that. He pointed out the deserted booth, hidden away in an awkward spot, and headed on over. Mr. Sadmo peered from behind the counter, a wide smile on his face. Welcome, welcome! Buy 3 rings and get the 4th one for free! Up to 12, what a steal! You're a 10th visitor, so I'll give you a ring for free, too! Wow, I'm so nice! Hang on. He turned to me. Which one of those prizes do you want? I'll win it.
What?
What? You will? But don't you want anything? Just a few minutes ago, Shane was openly rude to me, and now he wanted to win prizes for me? Isn't that what people do at festivals like this?
I don't know.
I don't know. I'm good at this game. I could totally win something.
Well...
Mr. Sadamo waited patient for me to make a decision. The walls were covered with cute plushies and other prizes like plastic toys and candy, all waiting to be won.
Hey.
How about that stuffed whale? He leaned close to me and pointed to a blue plushie at the back of the stand. One that came with the ability to squirt water out of its mouth. Yeah, it's really cute.
Yeah.
Right, are you ready to watch a pro? As he said that, a vivid flashback from a 5-year-old said the same thing to me. Just like a 5-year-old, Shane seemed to be trying to act cooler than he really was. He smiled and paid for some rings to throw. On the first one, he missed completely. Watch a pro, huh? Keep watching. On the second throw, the ring landed perfectly around the bar the furthest away. Mr. Sadamo seemed surprised that someone actually won, and he had been there the whole night. He set up a stepladder to get down the whale that Shane had won. It's simple, really. Shane looked at me and handed a plastic ring. You just have to get a feel for the weight and physics of the ring. The rest is just eyeballing the distance. I have 2 more tries. Do you want to have a go? If I said no, he'd probably insist. It wouldn't hurt anyways. I shyly accepted the rings from him, and following his advice, I tried to sense the weight of the plastic in my hands. Honestly, it just felt light to me. I couldn't really differentiate it from anything else with the same size and material. I thought it was ready, but when I threw it, I narrowly missed the old man and went nowhere near the bottle I was aiming for. Whoops. Do you want to try again? Mr. Samo passed Shane the whale, who gave it me with a smile, and I clutched it to my chest. It was soft. I could show you how to throw it. He spoke gently, miming the throwing action. I couldn't take any more of this. Who is this person? What had I done with Shane? It was time for me to show him a good time. No. My answer was simple, but I've seen something over Shane's shoulder, all the way on the other side of the festival. I smiled devilishly. No. What's with that face?
Yeah.
That was your game. Now let's go to mine. What game? It was a game I played in many festivals with my dad. He always beat me as a kid, even when he was trying to let me win. One year I was fed up with losing, so I went to a festival and spent a small fortune honing my skills. Maybe it was all for this moment. Yours? The cork shooting game. I shifted the whale into my right arm and used my other hand to push him forward.
No.
Hey, I can walk. Hurry up, I didn't know they had this game here. Are you ready to watch a pro? Man, I knew that was embarrassing. Hiding a giggle underneath my sleeve, I got in line at the cork shooting booth. Shane joined me at my side. I looked back at him. Someone was coming up behind him, a silly smile on their face. When the mysterious person realized I saw them, they put a finger to their lips. Should I say something? Shane looked at me confused, following my eyes right behind him as the person clapped him on the back. Rather hard, I might add. Bloody hell, Walla, what was that for? I was trying to scare you.
No.
You did, now go away. I didn't know you were going with Hana. He waved at me and I returned it. I didn't know you were going by yourself, you fucking loser. Holy fuck, Shane, no chill. I looked at Shane in alarm, but both boys had the biggest smile on their faces.
Huzzah!
Did you tell Hana the last time you went out with a girl you choked on a piece of candy and almost died? If looks could kill. Hana, I promise that didn't happen.
Yeah!
It totally did. Ask anyone about it. No, you choked on a jawbreaker and then you threw up. Oh right, it was probably me since you don't ever go out with girls. Shane turned beet red in an instant and smacked Wilds' arm. He merely laughed, shielding himself from the further assaults. Did you just come here to insult me?
Well...
Actually, I was trying to cut in line.
Bye.
Get out, scum. Holy fuck, Shane. Don't chill, man. Don't chill. Shane shoved Wallet out of line and he walked away snickering. I didn't really understand their dynamic. I wasn't trying to understand. He seemed kind of mean to you.
What?
Wallet? No way, he's a pretty cool guy. He was insulting you. That's just how we are, and everything was true. It's your turn. Oh! I scuttled to the booth, clumsily opening up the flap to my purse and taking out my money. Are you two playing together? We could do that? Of course! But it'll cost twice as much. I turned back to Shane, even more excited to play, but he was violently shaking his head. That obviously meant yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's do this. I placed the money on the counter, and the worker exchanged it for 2 cork guns. I never played this one. Sean hesitantly picked up the guns, staring at the marks on the wall opposite to us. I got into the position on the stool and scanned the orientation of the targets, calculating the fastest way I could shoot them. And go! That was sudden. Luckily, I was already prepared, and my moves were fluent and swift. Shane's corks were flying everywhere but their targets. There was no way he could win. My eyes focused on the small white bullseye in front of me, but I could still hear Shane murdering a steady stream of curses under his breath. He was hitting a surprising amount of targets for his first try. I was rather impressed. I hit my last target and set down my gun. There were 12 seconds left. I was out of practice, and I usually finish with 16 to spare. The buzzer rang as Shane put his gun down with a frown. Congratulations, Hana. He said it simply and then rose from his seat.
Hey.
Don't be upset. No one usually does well as you did on your first try. You're just a saving face.
Seriously?
No, really. I waved to the booth attendant in thanks, and she gave me a small smile in return. She probably wanted to get to the next people in line ready for their game. So, what next? I looked up at him, but his attention was elsewhere, and then he turned to me. Was I really good for a beginner?
Yeah.
Yes, you played well enough. You played Enough video games to have your hand-eye coordination translated to real life. You even hold a tournament with the other normal dudes every year. All the practice really adds up. Right. The tournament. In a rush, I remember he was the one who rejected me from participating. A storm of rocky memories cascaded into my skull and I bit my lip. Shane barely even wanted me to come to the festival with me. He didn't want me in the tournament either. He just wanted to sketch me. What was I doing out here with him? Ready to head back? Did you get to do everything you wanted? Yeah, I'm fine. We shuffled back home again, cloaked in silence. It seemed a bit like Shane wanted to say something to me. Maybe he wanted to apologize, but then he couldn't seem to work himself up to it. Finally, we stopped in front of the Primrose house. Well, thank you for coming with me. It was fun. Thanks for letting me draw you. Of course. I stared back into the dorm, only to feel something tug on my arm. Wait! I turned back to his face again. My eyes fell into a flower into his hands. He held it out for me, its petals trembling as much as his hands were. I got this flower for you. It was the same flower he drew to ask me to the festival. I thought you would like it. Thank you, it's lovely. Shane smiled in response. I was almost blinded with his radiance. He really could smile more often. He really should smile more often. But Shane, were you holding on to this the entire time?
Bye.
Anyways, good night. He turned on his heel and stalked away. I smiled to myself and headed to Primrose House. Maybe there was more hope for us than I thought. Chapter 2. I did belong in the tournament, and I was going to prove it to Shane. However, when the Flower Festival went, Shane's stance still hadn't changed. The others believed in me, so why didn't he? John saw my skill firsthand. Maybe it was time to show Shane too. Seeing is believing, after all. Gripping my phone tightly, I walked into the classroom. It was an empty safe for Shane, who was writing on his desk. He looked up at me and avoided my eyes. It made me instantly second-guess why I was in here. My feet felt like they were glued to the ground.
What's up?
Well, go on. You obviously have something to show me. Regret. I regretted coming in here. What was I going to do? Just show him how good I was at this popular phone game? And what? And expected that to work? Everyone played that game, and Shane wasn't one easily impressed either. You're acting like I'm going to run away. I can't leave while you're blocking the door like that, you know. He made a hand motion to me, gesturing me to approach and sit down. I did so in the seat next to his, and wiped the sweat off my phone before starting up the game. I deserve to be in the tournament, Shane. Do you not believe John? He set his pencil onto his desk. His chair grated against the polished wood, and he shuffled next to me. He exhaled heavily. Okay, I'm willing to see what you can do. I could feel my eyes go wide. This was the chance I needed. As my face brightened up, a reluctant grin appeared on Shane's face as well. Okay, while it's loading, I just wanted to say that I've been playing this game since it came out. Of course, its mechanics are very similar to all the match 3s around, but it's at least different enough where I have learned to change my playstyle to better fit the unique attributes of the game, so... Shane put a hand up and mouthed the word to breathe.
No.
I don't need to know your credentials, Hannah. Show me how good you are at the actual game. Okay, here we go, I guess. When I pressed play, I immediately my fingers were like electricity. It started off on level 1, but the number quickly climbed and the timer of guard began to decelerate faster. Around level 35, I began to struggle. The time went down too quickly and I got stressed trying to keep up. The high score was no longer the priority. It was staying alive. Still, level 35 was very impressive. At level 39, Shane stopped me. I've seen enough. But I haven't even lost yet. It's hard to watch. You're getting single combos so the game won't end. The tournament is not how far you can make it. It's purely score-based. Even the intermediate player knows how to focus on score instead of time. Running out of time doesn't matter if you don't have enough points. There's no point in getting to higher levels if you're going to get 4 points at every combo. All combo-based games are the same. Prentice, Redmastone. Burn, bright, burn, quick. I thought you understood at least the basics. I've seen all I need. You can't be in the tournament representing us like this. Besides, you're competing against someone in the tournament, not doing a single player. He scooted his chair away. It was the most he'd ever spoken to me at once. If he knew so much about match 3s, why wasn't he playing them in the tournament? Okay, that makes sense. I started to leave. There was a half an hour until class. Shane didn't seem interested in talking anymore, but I couldn't run away without giving myself some kind of hope for the future. Everyone decided that I was competing, whether you like it or not. You aren't the leader of the team. I'll get better and show John a PPG. Shane raised his eyebrows, looking slightly amused at my proposal. I wish you all the best, Hannah. I glared at Shane and stomped out of the room. He would see. I just need to practice. I sat in an AA field outside the school, trying to incorporate Shane's tips into my strategy. Changing the fundamentals of my playstyle was harder than I imagined it would be. It was even harder to motivate myself, knowing all the single-player training was almost useless. I'd never played a League competitive version. In it, there was an entirely new component, solid blocks that you could move or break. I wasn't interested in it, or any good at these types of games, so I couldn't practice with her. I rolled my eyes as I did. Something caught my attention. The back of the distinctly yellow jacket. It was Ian. He would definitely know how to play it, seeing as he was the puzzle representative of the hidden block team. I swiftly grabbed my backpack and plopped myself next to him.
Hey!
Mind helping me practice Double Doom's Revenge? My brain caught up to what exactly my body executed. My confidence dwindled and I laughed weakly, trying to ignore my rapidly beating heart. I mean, if you're not going to do anything important... Hi, Hannah. Is everything okay? Yeah, I'm fine. You're playing Double Doom's Revenge in the tournament, right? I'm, well, a replacement for John in the puzzle department. He gave a skeptical smirk in response. You're my opponent, then. Yeah, that's correct. And if you're a good competitor, you wouldn't help me. But if you're a good person... I shrugged innocently, though Ian wasn't so convinced. What'd you say? I'd never played the two-player, and I just wanted to know what it's like. Come on, it took a lot for me to come over here and ask this. Alright. I have to warn you, though, I'm very good. And there's also a reason the Hidden Block chose me. I compete in the puzzle category every single year. I don't know how much you'll learn by losing, but I'll just... Give it your best. I learn quickly. He put a hand up in his defeat. Don't say I didn't warn you. He took out his phone out of his pocket and started the game. Mine was already loaded, so I set up the room. Alright, room name? Oh, I assume it's Hannah Rules. And the password? Ian Drools. You raised an eyebrow. Should've guessed. Well, we'll see about that, won't we? I didn't get much time to practice with the tactics Shane mentioned, but it was apparent that the first few moments that I wouldn't need them. Right away, Ian set up four huge combos, and those cursed unbreakable blocks came right down on what I was preparing. He buried me beneath the blocks under a minute of play. It was sad, really. Be quick, Hannah. Nobody's trying to win. We'll give you enough time to plan out your combos. Shane said as much. He's helping you? Well, he's good. Almost better than me. Why isn't he the puzzle person, then? Ian shrugged. He's better at Mario Kart. What can I say? I felt like there was more to it than that. Can we try one more time? We don't have to go to class for another few minutes. Please, you're the only one that plays this game. Alright, if it's for practice, I can't say no. We set up a rematch in Hannah Rules and began again. I looked at the timer and counted down, and noticed Ian's eyes quickly scanning the screen, preemptively looking for combos. I should have been doing the same. You remember what I told you? You should be better this time. Ian didn't lift his eyes from his phones, so he couldn't see me nod at him. When my gaze returned to the game, we had already started. My thumbs moved in a flurry in my desperation to keep up. I saw a 4-match right off the bat and swapped the blocks. I figured out rather quickly that it was a waste of time dealing with the unmatchable blocks lovingly sent from Ian, but they were rapidly overtaking my screen. I lasted longer this time, but in the end, Ian annihilated me and my poor blocks. I actually struggled for a bit this time. I tried to come up with a retort, but my mind was absolutely blank. He stretched out his hands for a handshake, and then I realized he was being sincere. I wiped my sweaty palms off my skirt and gripped his hands. Pretty good for having never played competitively before this. He smiled mischievously at me, and as the bell rang.
Bye.
We should get to class if you need anything else. You know where to find me, challenger. It didn't matter what I did. The trophy hunts, the high-score achievements, the video game paper crafts, even some plushies of obscure characters. Nothing interests or impressed Shane. It did help that my complete lack of talent in the areas meant that the things I made up were an ugly mess. What was I supposed to do? Still, I didn't know Shane that well. But I knew someone who did. In a I hurried to John's dorm, wasting little time as possible.
What's up?
Hey, Anna, what's up?
Hey.
John, I was wondering whether you might be able to help me with something. Something Shane related? John, already roused by his friend's name, began to tap his chin. Do you have any idea what sort of gifts he likes or might need anything?
Well...
Maybe he's homesick? He doesn't say it, but it shows in more ways than just his grumpy face. Homesick? I thought my father's letter tucked under my pillow back in my dorm room was a stand of being surrounded by people who are so clearly raised with more room than I ever had. Poor Shane.
Huh.
Yeah, his appetite, his attitude, and the way he talks, he's all sad. The concern in his words was hidden behind every cheery tone. John turned his attention fully to me and then continued just as cheerily. He kept talking about wanting a British flag for his dorm. That symbol of his homeland. The banner of his patriotism.
Yeah!
The mark of his lineage. You know, what sort of thing. That'd probably be the easiest thing to get him.
Well...
That could be nice. But I was hoping to get him something a little more creative than that.
Hey!
Then you should make one for him. He ushered me inside and went over his desk to retrieve something. He returned with a stack of old gaming magazines and a pair of scissors.
Yeah!
Let's do this! After short hours of snipping, we crafted a Union jacket that any grade school art teacher would be proud of. After thanking John for his help, I rushed over to Shane's room, eagerness coursing through my veins. I knocked a few times on the front door, but it didn't seem to be any movement or noise coming from inside. I tried again, at this time a little more aggressively. Almost instantly, a clamor roared out as I woke a slumbering beast. Shane opened the door halfway, his body positioned to block vision on the other parts of his room. Are you okay? Did I interrupt anything? I'm fine, don't worry about it. He squinted, staring at me at the colorful collage tucked in my arm. What are you up to? I stepped away from the door and unfolded the flag and held it out as it was going to be strung up then and there. Shane's look intensified to intrigued disgust. Is that?
Yeah.
A Union Jack! John told me you were feeling a little down because you've been away from home for so long, but... His disgusted glare lifted from the flag to me.
What?
Why are you bothering with him with stuff like that? Why go through the trouble? My hands reacted, crumpling the flag at its edges. I was trying to do something nice. I didn't want to get you something you needed or didn't need or want, so I wanted to make sure. My heart was beating fast. My body started to feel warm. I couldn't let it deter me. I had to stand my ground, and just to show how Shane was with people. Taking a deep breath, I straightened my arms out to properly show the flag. I made this for you because I wanted to show you what I'm capable of. You don't have to hang it up or anything, but please accept it. Shane stepped out from the doorway, forced me to step back and turn. He leaned in a bit, inspecting it. Then, with a scoff, he took it in his own hands. He held it out like I had, turning and twisting the flag every which way for critics to look at it. I get that it's scrapped together, but it looks like a ransom letter. It was understandable to complaint. John and I really didn't cross-reference our work. The use of faced out-of-print gaming literature didn't help either. With a shock, he took his hat and folded the flag under his arm. Still, I guess it's not completely horrible. I suppose I can use this until I get something better.
Really?
Really? Thank you. I mean, you're welcome. Maybe it was just seeing things, but I thought I saw him flash a smile. My heart was beating quicker than ever, but it felt completely different from when I was nervous. I hope you like it. Shane went back in his room, giving a small wave before shutting the door behind him. It took me a minute to realize how quickly I'd accepted the flag and brought it back in with him. For a few seconds, I was just standing there, listening to my own heartbeat. As if it weren't for one thing, I doubt it would have been known. I would have known that he was still on the other side of the door. It was quiet, but I swear, I know for a fact I heard him say, "Thank you, Hana." The next few days, things proved a bit awkward between Shane and me. I thought my gift bring us closer together, but instead he avoided my eyes and was doing his best to not even speak with me. After days of frustration, I decided to change tactics. At the opposite end of the hall, I spotted Shane, and his attention turned to the classroom he was leaving. This was my chance. I quickly made my way towards him, trying not to make it look like I had all-important ulterior motive.
Hey!
Shane! I cautiously lifted my hand to greet him, only noticing because he responded with the same motion. Hey, did you know... I closed my eyes with preparation for cockiest acts. In the Ultra System 2, Caliber Driver, although you can play most of the game as Haku Hondo, you need to assume your driver persona in order to deliver the finishing blows in order to particularly boss enemies. This being an attribute brought over from sources materials that extend to the history of the dynamic of climaxes. When I opened my eyes, there was a less entertained expression on Shane's face. For some reason, the edges of his lips started to visually tremble. That's probably enough. I figured that was enough embarrassing myself for today. And you know, I'm sorry. I swear I'll never do that again. Shane's trembling stopped and a warm smear plastered over his face. Thanks. That was all he said before departing for his next class. Later that day at lunch, Shane laminated how awful the school's fish and chips were. As I listened, I tucked the idea with glee. I would make them for him. Demo Max, I think you're too far away. You can watch it on YouTube later. I'll have it up to at least tonight. I never fried anything before in my life, but it couldn't be that hard. Luckily, the dorm kitchens were stocked pretty nicely. There was a thick fillet of cod in the back of the fridge, and I pulled it out and cut it up. I remember from frying chicken with my dad that the batter and flour were water mainly. As I soaked the fish in strips and eggs, I slipped out a cookbook to make sure my knowledge was correct. This had to be perfect. Not only had enough fish for one try, I followed the recipe, mixing together the spices and flour. When the oil was properly heated, I slotted a spoon to let it fry. It was difficult, and I was terrified. A drop of oil was going to jump out and hit my face. But then they were finally done. I caught my hands together and the flour exploded in the air, dusting my face and hair. But as I looked down at my fried creation, I smiled. They looked absolutely perfect. I had done everything right for once. Maybe this would make up for my pitiful attempts of cheering Shane up. I wiped my hands on the apron and hung back before slipping into my uniform jacket. Lunch period was nearly over, and I had elected to spend it making this fish. I plated it up rather messily and shielded it with plastic wrap. If I ran, Shane would still have enough time to try it. To avoid being spotted by the tumble gods, I made sure those shoes were tied and nothing to trip on. I made my way to the cafeteria. The dishes would have to be done later.
Hey!
Oh, here she is. I told you she didn't forget about us. I slid into the seat next to Maya and pushed the plate to Shane, trying not to make eye contact with everyone. It's fish and chips. Well, without the chip, it's just fish. Why do you complain about the school? You complain about the school food, right? I know you're kind of missing home, and I understand. My parents used to make this for me and always cheered me up, so I wrapped the plastic wrap from the plate and released the steam. I caught a quick smile from Shane, and I was happy to glimpse his elusive Shane smile, patent pending.
Oh, wow!
Wow, Hannah, they smell really good! The blush hiding from my fear floated to the surface. Of course, I made them for everyone to have some. Shane's gotta eat it first, though, right? Under the watch of Normal Boots Club, myself, Shane picked up a piece of my creation. Thanks. He took a huge bite, careful at first, and he chewed, his face shifting into something akin to surprise. Wow, this is actually really... He stopped suddenly and dropped the fish and began searching desperately for something. When it was not found, he got up and ran out of the cafeteria, coughing on the way. But the fish hadn't been perfect. I followed the recipe so closely. No one else said a word. I ripped off a small piece of fish and chewed it slowly. I immediately knew it was wrong. Mouth ablaze, I fished around my backpack for my water bottle and downed the whole thing in 4 seconds. It's a little spicy! My voice was a croak, but I was too busy trying to hide the uncontrollable tears from my brimming eyes. My Satch took a crumb and ate it. A moment later, they really were feeling it. Dang, I can handle my spicy food better than your average person, but this is something else. He shook his head violently, and then my face puckered. This could be a magical girl component, Hannah. Wow! Just how much cayenne did you add?
Well...
2 cups? They all looked at me if I killed somebody right in front of them. 2 cups?! I thought it was a lot too, but that's what the recipe said. That can't be right. 2 teaspoons, maybe. I don't know. I thought everyone was right, but obviously was not. I looked down in defeat, and here I thought everything was perfect. Now Jared mentioned, oh, you're on your iPad. Okay, that's probably why you're lagging, man. Yeah, if you're on your iPad and trying to connect to Wi-Fi, it's not going to be very good. And the fact that you probably are far away from me doesn't help. Now that Jared mentioned it, it did look a little red to be fried fish. Do you think Shane's okay? He ate a lot.
Huh.
A little spice never killed anyone, Hannah. He's fine. I just imagine he's getting some water from the bathroom. Jared's right. Plus, if it didn't turn out as expected, you should still be thankful you took the time to cook for him. Why don't you ever cook me things, huh? I pushed me playfully.
Uh-huh.
You know, nice thing, and if he doesn't appreciate it, then you should appreciate him. Thanks, guys. Want me to go talk to him? I shook my head. It'll be fine. Class is about to start anyways. I'll probably be there and I could apologize profusely. I don't assume anybody wants these. I lifted up a plate and offered it around.
Yay!
Oh, me! I was expecting a serious answer, but I was already getting up to throw them away.
What?
Why would you possibly want these? You know, variety is a pinch of crumb. The simmering pot of life. Ugh. I wasn't buying it. My culinary failures can only be used for good, not evil. I dumped the fish into the trash.
What the hell?
The thump of them hitting the bottom of the bin went nicely with Maya's anguished wails. But, you know my recipe now. I'm not condoning food terrorism, but I can't exactly stop you. Mai sprang up and hugged me.
Yeah!
I knew you'd see things my way. Soon everyone else began cleaning up and putting away their trays. Shane still hadn't come back. I guess they wouldn't see him until later. Hold on, it's hot today. Cheer up, Hannah. He's fine. Jar paused and squinted at something across the cafeteria.
Exactly.
See? Isn't that him over there? It was hard to see Shane and the Egger figure coming straight towards me. Uh-oh.
Really?
You couldn't win my acceptance, so you tried to kill me?
No!
No, it wasn't like that, No matter what you try to do, I'm not going to change my mind. Still fumbling, he walked over to John and put an arm on his shoulder and the other one clutching his stomach. Tell Miss Shiz I won't be able to make it. He looked over his shoulder at me. Someone made me nauseous.
What?
Whoa, missing class? Are you okay, dude? Besides the fact I want to explore my charred organs from my body, yes. He walked off. What's Shine talking about? You guys have some beef?
What?
What? No, I think he's just delirious. I looked down at the ground and suddenly very interested in my shoelaces. My food was terrible after all. Hey, don't get so down. We'll try again another time, okay? She clapped me on the back. By now I was more than used to Mai's Heimlich. Oh, did it go offline? Hold on, let me check. No, I'm still alive. Hold on, I'm gonna test it for you. YouTube audience is gonna hate me. No, it's still fine. It's still moving, it's just your end. Demo Max, it might be just the location. My server for streaming is in New York City. So, if you have a problem with that, that's the thing. That's probably why. If Shane was gone for 2 days, holy fuck! That was one deadly fucking fish. John had to bring in his homework, and he didn't even come to meals. He was so sick. I was consumed with guilt every second. It was my fault, everything else. What could it be? I slouched into my seat, absent-mindedly doing a sad stick man onto my homework. Then Mai hit me. Ow, what was that for? She was looking at something. Shane was walking through the door, avoiding eye contact with everyone. He promptly slid into his desk and started talking quietly with PBG. I told you didn't die. Mai did this thing where she tried to whisper, but ended up not doing it at all. It sounded like a specially breathy statement. PBG looked over at us. My eyes never went to my desk faster. No, I didn't know I didn't kill him. My resort was a little rougher than I meant. My smile faded. Sorry, I've been stressed. I wonder why he's gone for so long. It was just Pepper. Does he shrivel up when he touches Pepper like a slug? Mai stuck out her tongue and curled her arms in front of me like a blend between T-Rex and a 2,000-year-old mummy. I couldn't help but laugh. With slugs, it's salt, not pepper. Okay, fine. Then he was like a snail, not a slug. Happy? She curled up again. I didn't even try to correct her this time. I'd apologize to Shane as soon as possible. Today was the only day that would probably be the only day where I'd ever want to work in a group, so I just ran over there and get it over with. But the class ended up being silent lecture, as boring as ever. Hana, Miss Misanu. I snapped out of my superior, and the class was completely silent. Yeah? You needed in the front office. I froze. No one got a call in the office in the middle of class. Had my spicy criminal ways finally been revealed? I don't understand why they couldn't just wait until after class, but you're free to go. She sighed heavily and shrugged. Is anyone running the school anymore? Hannah, gather your things. There are 5 minutes left of class, so just go to lunch after your little trip down the hall. I quickly packed up. As I passed her desk, Miss Shiz licked her thumb and she picked a piece of sheet of paper off her desk. Homework. See you tomorrow. The second I took the paper from her, she continued her lecture from where she left off. I went to the office, ready to admit my wrongdoing to the headmaster or whoever there would be there to scold me. I gave a slip of paper to the girl who was, for some reason, working the desk. Hi, Hannah! Did you leave your ID? You left your ID card in the library. We need to confirm that it was you picking up. I don't want to get it in the wrong hands. She stopped in the sentence, and there was an odd pitch, as if they were already in the wrong hands. I'd like to say a huge weight is lifted off my shoulders, but shame-related guilt was hung on my head. Kasanu held up my ID and examined it and looked up into my face. I swear to God, she really is a robot, isn't she? Kasaku emitted an odd beeping noise. Here you are! She handed me my card and signed her name off as the paper. As she did, she squinted at me. You know, you look familiar to me. I do. Scanning databases? Her eyes shied. Uncomfortable step back, wondering whether to run away. A sudden look of realization crossed her face. You're friends with Shane, are you not? Yeah, I am. Why? Kasakun shook her head. If you're friends with Shane, then information to remain classified. What? Why? Classified. I huffed angrily, but Kasakun didn't seem to notice. You're good to go. Take care of your card and enjoy lunch. I said my thanks and held my ID card between my fingers. A lot of worrying, all for this. Oh well, it was time for me to get to lunch. I was completely unable to find Shane during lunch. Apparently, despite being in class, his stomach wasn't completely settled. The smell in the air made him feel nauseous, which meant I didn't have a chance to talk to him. After class ended, I tried to get to him, but the hustle and bustle of students blocked the way. Shane put his bag and left the room before I even got halfway across. Those were the perks sitting near the door. I wasn't about to stalk him to his dormitory, so instead, Mai and I headed to the library to study as planned. As we walked, I held up my ID card and smiled, just like my picture. Look what I lost.
Really?
That was it? Aw, how disappointing. Don't get mad at me, but I thought it'd be funny if I saw you in handcuffs being pushed out of into a police car. I had my phone ready to take an angsty picture of you and everything. That would have been badass. Mai looked off in the distance, daydreaming. I was fine with being the target of her malicious fantasies as long as she didn't actually try to make me do anything. Oh yeah! She snapped back into reality and grabbed my arms excitedly.
Yeah!
They were talking about you.
What?
Who? What? The normal boots, right before lunch. As soon as class is over, John started to talk to Shane. Pretty loudly, I might add. And how you liked him. What did they say? What did Shane say? Come on, Hannah. Everybody knows it. You've been doing so many things for him. They were saying the exact same thing. Shane just kept denying it. He didn't want anything else but no. Oh, there he is, standing right in front of the library. What? What am I supposed to say? Why is he there, Mai? She had vanished. I would receive no help. Shane gave me a small wave as I approached. He was waiting for me, right?
Hey.
I stopped in front of him. Before you say anything, I just want to say I'm so sorry for making that fish for you. I really didn't think it'd be that spicy. I've been worrying about it nonstop since I made you really sick. Mai suggested I visit you in your dorm, but that didn't go well last time, and I thought I would just make you angrier, and you were already there, so... Whoa, okay, first, your fish didn't make me sick. Jared gave me his cold, and I didn't want to give it to anyone else. Second, it was pepper. It's not going to kill me. I'm not a snail, or whatever Mai's been saying. Just like that, all my problems were solved.
Really?
You're really fine? No internal bleeding or anything?
Yeah.
I'm fine. Stop worrying about it. It added a little spice to life. He smiled. A real smile. But that's not what I want to talk to you about. I'm in art class and we need to have a full portrait done by next week. He wants to do it again. I wonder if you would be my model again? His hands were in pockets and he wasn't looking at me. Nothing I wasn't used to. I almost instantly agreed because it was Shane, but my discomfort outweighed the impulse. Well, I don't know. I was the most confident in my looks. Modeling for practice was one thing, but an actual portrait to be seen by the whole art class made me wary. It'd only be a few hours, anytime you're free.
Well,
I guess I do kind of owe you for what I did.
Right?
Yeah, you tried to kill me! So you'll do it? I was about to say yes, but I actually started thinking about it. No, I don't owe you anything.
Well,
I didn't mean it like that. You've been mean to me since I got here. I've tried to do nice things, but it didn't have any effect, did it? You're still mean to me, so why should I do more for you? Hannah, it was a joke. No, I tried to kill you. Why don't you ask some other girl to do it then? Shane was quiet for a few moments and mumbled an excuse. I was in the mood to hear. It's just that it's a school assignment and you're here. What about it? It's weird, suspicious. Never mind. How? Now it's never mind? Whatever. I gave him no chance to respond, heading to the library where Mai was eagerly waiting.
hey, what's up?
Is everything alright? You're looking kind of tomato-y. Yes, everything is fine. Let's just study. I didn't have any contact with Shane until the next day at lunch. They were serving bacon stuffed turkey wraps. I wasn't the kind of thing I usually go for, but beggars can't be choosers. I grabbed a tray and went to the back of the line. In seconds, Shane lined up behind me. He didn't say anything at all, look at me. Instead, a thick tension throttled in the air between us. It was a little much for me to get angry at him. After he forgave me for setting his mouth on fire, maybe I was too quick to anger, and maybe that was unreasonable. I wanted to apologize, but I didn't want to bring it back up. I felt like it would only make things worse. Shane sighed behind me, and my thoughts trailed back to his offer. Modeling for him was the first time. It was fun, albeit a bit terrifying, but maybe I could put the fear behind me. It was to help him with his project, after all. Maybe he would actually start trusting me? Yeah, right, as if it was going to happen.
Hey.
I know you didn't give me bad food on purpose. Thank you for doing such a nice thing. Anyways, I've been wanting to ask you if you model for me again ever since the flower festival. I placed my tray under the glass, and a smiley cafeteria worker spooned me some steamed asparagus. Oh, steamed asparagus. Lovely. Fucking hell, man. Seeing my non-reaction, Shane changed tactics. I know you're peeved at me, and I'm sorry. The turkey wrap was placed on my tray, and after grabbing a glass of chocolate milk, I headed for the usual table. Shane grabbed his glass and jogged to catch up with me. Of course, by divine intervention, we were the first to reach the table. Alone, I was trapped. So, will you model for my project?
well,
Hannah, at least say something. I looked away. How should I respond? It seems like you're just using me. He narrowed his eyes. Why would you say that? You haven't liked me for all this time, but now because of my hair, you want to draw me? I chose you for a reason, but that's not... Whatever, fine by me. Shane turned half away from me and I picked up my food. Why would he ask to draw me if he hated me so much? Why would he specifically mention my hair if he hated so much? The silence stretched longer between us. It was almost like he was trying to make up for insulting me by calling my hair beautiful. I didn't say I wasn't going to. Of course, I'll be your model. Glad you decided on something. He took a big chug of his glass. Apparently he wouldn't have said anything else, but had shifted in his chair to face me. That, at least, was a good sign. So, should I, like, wear makeup or something? Do my hair? I've never done this before.
no.
You're fine as you are. Okay. Cool. I guess I'll see you tomorrow morning before class. I had no idea where else we would meet, but since I knew he usually came early, it seemed like the best of awkward place, neutral ground. Yes, bring your best face.
What's up?
Hey guys, what's going on? Nothing, don't worry about it. Paul, Nick, and Josh all joined us at the table, smug smiles on their faces. Nothing, eh? Nothing. For some reason, Paul started laughing and he launched into an explanation of some kind of petition for Shane to do more artwork for his campaign. You did the art for Paul's campaign pictures? Of course, who else would do it? Shane was really good at drawing if he did those. Suddenly anxiety gripped my heart. Tomorrow morning loomed large before me. I was both thrilled and terrified. I stood in front of the classroom that morning, heart pounding. My hair was freshly washed and as nice as I could make it, my face lightly dusted with makeup, my uniform neatly pressed. It was fine. It was a quick portrait. How bad could it be? I reached for a trembling hand for the door.
Hana.
Shane.
You're here! I am and you are. I am. We are. After you. Thank you. I stepped into the classroom, conscious of the stillness in the air. Dust danced around my sunbeams, cascading through the windows. Shane shut the door behind him and walked to his seat. Ready? He gestured to a chair in front of him. Already? We're starting? Did you have something else to do? No, sorry. I crossed to the chair and sat down, stiff as a board. He pulled out a large sketchbook and flipped to a new page, and then pulled out a packet of art supplies. He dug through the pencils with critical eye, occasionally pausing, and then shaking his head and moving on. Seemed like kind of competent. Not to mention awkward. I had nothing else to do but sit there and watch. Just pose naturally. Naturally? Don't bother smiling or anything. Keep your body still. Still? I sat up straight, hands on my knees, and I tried to iron out my expression. The last time Shane drew me, I hadn't been so particular. Stop blushing. I'm trying. Shane sketched a bit on his pad and then glanced at me again. I said, stop blushing. I'm trying, but I can't help it. It's obscuring the lines of your face. I can't concentrate. Yeah, well. I spun around in my chair, staring at my desk. Deep breaths, Hana. Deep breaths. When I spun around to face him again, Shane was impassive at me. I stared straight ahead and Shane began to sketch. Turn your chin to the left a little. Not your whole head. Shane, my chin is connected to my head. I can't move one without moving the other. It was a little awkward. Shane wasn't good at expressing what he wanted. I wasn't good at understanding what he meant. Tilt your head slightly. I tilted my head. He nodded, turning back to his paper. This was weird. We weren't talking outside of giving him orders, and I was afraid to move my mouth out of fear of messing up his drawing. Also, my nose itched. I started to squirm, my legs tossing for a fro, but they were the only body part I could actually move. Shane glanced pointedly at my legs, and I stopped. When he turned back to his paper, he glanced at me again. I'm not great at this. At drawing? Wait, am I allowed to talk? I already did your mouth. Don't move your head. Easier said than done. I've seen your other work, though. You're good. Shane's paintings were up in the hallways along with the other students, not to mention a few comic books he showed me. Portraits need personality to them, to the faces. He put his pencil down and then turned to me. Apparently, this information was so important that it required a full break in his concentration. I smirked. The Mona Lisa is so expertly painted, you can feel the emotion and character of the model. That's why it's a classic. I know experience with art, but thinking back to the portrait, I nodded. It always seemed kind of boring to me, but that makes sense. Shane glared at me again, but this time didn't feel so heated. It felt almost affectionate. Your face is good. In the drawing, I mean. It's just, you have so much light in your form, it's hard. He went back to sketching and putting a hand to his chin. Should I try something else? No, this is on me. I've never been good at capturing emotions. Shane looked troubled, so serious, but the problem made so much sense that I almost burst into laughter. I clapped a hand over my mouth, trying to cover my laugh, but with severe faking caught fit. Don't lose your pose. Sorry. Spit caught my throat. Haven't you done portraits before? Yes. That's not what I meant. I desperately wanted to glare at him, but I wasn't supposed to move my face. Instead, I channeled the annoyance into my eyes, shooting him with an imaginary laser. I made a short comic once in England, about a girl named Emma, her adventures and the funny things she did. I got some laughs, but I wasn't getting the right feeling. The right feeling?
I don't know.
I thought it would be better practice. With practice. My skills improved, but not the emotion. Before I came here, I lost all motivation. I was about to make a comment, but something in Shane's face made me stop. He seemed pensive or sad. You can move, I'm mostly done. I finally slouched, squishing my face around. It was nice to be able to move. My muscles felt weird after holding him still for so long. Wait, how long have I technically been able to move? Not important. He chuckled, leaning on the paper. So close to the paper I couldn't see his face. Maybe I just like looking at you.
What?
You, what? I'm done. He rolled his shoulder, leaning back for a better view of the page. Despite saying he was done, he continued scanning the drawing, eyes narrowed. How does it look? I tried to peek at the sketchbook, but Shane immediately shifted over to block my line of sight. Hey! He glanced at me and then the portrait. It's not very good. But it's my face. Please, can't I see it? Shane turned to me. Face set as to tell me off. Then he sighed. Don't laugh. He picked up a sketchbook and held it in his hands for a brief second, then turned his face to me. What I saw almost left me breathless. It was me. Of course it was me, but I expected that. But this was... Shane, I knew Shane was good, but I didn't expect this. Shane's face fell as I tried to figure out some way to describe it. I know the eyes are weird, and I'm thinking about adding more shading. No, it's great! Wonderful! A small smile tugged at Shane's cheeks. He put a hand up to try and hide it, but it was obvious. Right.
Shane.
You're so talented. I want to see your comics now. Do you still have the copies? I threw most of them away. It wasn't that good. You should start again. I lost motivation. I had trouble with expressions. You can use my face! I said it before I even realized what I was offering. He looked at me intently and then glanced at his sketch. She does kind of look like you. Really? What was her name again? Emma. You two are alike, now that I think about it.
Really?
We are? We both get excited at the drop of a hat. Oh! Hold that face. He pulled a notebook from his backpack and lifted his pencil to the page. I stared at him in confusion. Wait, hold that face instead. His pencil skittered across the page. I wondered whether Shane's lack of skill with expressions was because he didn't exert enough of them, or because his own range of expressions was so concentrated. You're drawing a comic? Not yet. 50 seconds later, Shane paused, and he went back to his sketch, snickering. You're good. He smiled at me, a real bona fide, genuine Shane smile. He was actually having fun, and I was taken aback. His eyes dropped to the page again, and his smile fell. With a tisk, he ripped the page and crumpled it up in his hand. What happened? It's nothing. Don't worry about it. I doubted it was nothing, but didn't want to talk about it, so I dropped it. Shane shoved the paper in his pocket. Thank you. He put away his supplies, gingerly picking up the portrait. I need you to drop this off. Without further ado, Shane stood and left the room, the portrait held out in front of him, as not to be smudged by his sleeves. I watched the door shut, still sitting next to his desk. It was such an abrupt mood change. What happened? I crossed my side of the room, pulling out a book, and there was time left before class, so I had to make use of it. As I tried to read, I found my mind drifting. I liked Shane. Sure, he was rough around the edges, but deep down he seemed like a good guy. No, he wasn't. He's an asshole. And kind of a lonely guy. I wanted to do something nice for him. After all, he was still so far from home. I knew how hard it was to miss your family. What could I do? Chapter 3 already? Wow, we're making fucking fast shit.
Hey!
Mai, do you know how to make crumpets? I leaned back in the chair and made eye contact with Mai, who was sitting on her bed.
Really?
Crumpets? Are we expecting a visit from the queen? Close! They're for Sheen. Oh, good idea!
Bingo.
Stereotypically English and a nice sentiment. Maybe that's what he means. Yeah, he's been kind of talking about England a lot. I think he misses it more than he lets on. Is that a weird thing to do? Well, maybe. But you're obviously just trying to think of him. No one in their right minds would get mad at that. I nodded. Also, I don't know. Huh? I don't know how to make crumpets. Oh, I'll look it up. Thanks. Whoa, you're gonna make them by yourself? Yeah? Don't you remember the last time? Let me come this time. I jumped off her bed instead of using the ladder. She pointed at the door and a hand on her hip. I'm in a baking mood today. I appreciate the help. I used a second set of eyes. Maybe that wouldn't mistake soy sauce for vanilla. Kiss the cook. Okay, so we have to bring the yeast to life with warm water. My ticker figured out the flour-covered cookbook and then ran to sink with the measuring cup. I was whisking together dry ingredients, but Maya had yet to start in the wet. It's already alive. We just have to activate it. Bread is alive? Yes, until you bake it. Then the yeast dies, then you're left with fresh bread. Oh, that's so sad. She mixed together the milk and water. Ready to combine?
Uh-huh.
Yep. I glanced over the cookbook at the countertop. Okay, it says to pour slowly and mix continuously. Oops. Slowly? I glanced back to Maya and her arms were in an empty bowl and the ingredients were drowning. They should still be okay, right? I think so. Let's check the consistency. I stirred vigorously for a few minutes, trying to make up for lost time. Finally evened out to a similar consistency. Kind of. Looks fine to me. I tilted my head compared to the picture in the book. Yeah, it looks pretty alright. Now we let it rinse for an hour. Can't we bake it already? I'm hungry. Mai, these aren't for us. I paused. No, Mai should get half of them. She did help me after all. I wish, but we have to at the least fill it with bubbles. Or something. Otherwise, you'd be eating tortillas. Tortillas sound so good right now. I checked my watch. 4:30 in the afternoon. In that case, do you want to grab something while we wait?
Yay!
Yeah, Hannah, you're a genius. She grabbed me by the shoulders and smiled widely. Took a few seconds to write down "Do not touch" in capital letters on a sticky note, and then placed it with on our covered dough. I was about to follow Maya out of the room when I looked back. I added a "please" at the bottom of the note. Hannah, let's go! Coming! I scooped up my backpack, and I followed the almost sprinting Maya out of the door to the cafe. Ah, fuck my headphones. When we got back, everything was exactly where we left it. Sadly, so too were our dirty dishes. I uncovered the dough, which was pleasantly plump. Maya peeked over the shoulder. Ooh, it's like a bald head! I noticed. I nodded. I was thinking more along the lines of, well, but. Now we need it. Bake it? I looked over the recipe, divided into equally sized lumps, and then put them in the oven. Oh, the oven. Since we had to wait for the dough to rise, we didn't bother to preheat the oven. I set it to the proper temperature, and Mai formed balls out of the dough on the table, so I soon joined her. They're so squishy! Mai tickled one, and it was like a kitten's chin. Like it was kitten's chin. Then we baked them. And they were flat. Really flat. I died fine with them.
Yeah!
Okay, so maybe they're not airy and light, but they still taste pretty good. She shoved the whole crumpet in her mouth, wincing slightly. It's hot. Because they're kind of just soft crackers. What did we do wrong? Not enough yeast? Not enough resting time? I don't know, Hana, but they're good enough to me. Crumbs spewed across the counter as she spoke. You can have all of them, then. She seemed to like them more than Shade ever would, and that way it worked out for the both of us. Her eyes lit up. Really? I'm not gonna stay and make another batch. Ooh, I'll help. I smiled. I hoped she would say that, but my being there to catch any mistakes made me more confident. And so we started again from the beginning this time. I read the instructions exactly as they were written in the book, telling Mai exactly what to do. Okay, how about we let it rinse for a second time? One rise, not rinse. Created the air bubbles. 2 rises would make twice as many bubbles, right? Yeah, let's do that. And we could also let them sit longer? Good idea. I don't want to make them a 3rd time. After a few hours checking between study session and meals, we were satisfied with the size of the dough ball.
Yeah!
Let's roll them up! We split into the dough in a half, and one for each of us, then we rolled them up again. Once we placed them on the tray into the oven, I started to clean up. Maya had her head under the table. Are you looking for something? She came back to look at me, banging her head on the edge of the table. She frowned, but otherwise had no other reaction, which was fine because I flinched enough for the both of us. You seem a plastic toy around here? What does it look like? It's a small cat. Oh, like those itty-bitty kitties? Gerard collected those. Wasn't he looking for one? I haven't seen one around, but we can check. No, it's not that important. I'll just come back later. I'm not even sure it's in here. I'm gonna go check around the school. Want me to help? No, you need to watch the crumpets. I'll be fine.
Bye!
Good luck! Mai winked and then jogged out of the room. Finally, it was time to get my crumpets. I opened up the ovens, hands trembling. The heat fogged up my glasses. When the concentration cleared, I saw pure beauty. They were perfectly shaped, rigid, and golden brown along the edges. I was ecstatic. I pulled them out, the baked goodness wafting into my nose. We did it! Through teamwork, we achieved the impossible! Impossible for us, anyways. I set them down on the countertop to cool, and I pulled out my phone to take them a picture. Thanks for making them with me, So pretty, I can't wait to give them to Shane. Shane was bound to love them. He had to. After they cooled, I put them in a plastic container and sealed them tight. They wouldn't leave my sight until they were in Shane's hands. English crumpets done light, toasted, and finely buttered. At long last, time for delivery came. Shane was already sitting down to eat when I entered the cafeteria. Too excited to waste time, I crossed directly over to him, plumpered my plastic bin in front of him.
Hello.
Hello, Hana?
Hi.
Hi, I hope you're hungry. I opened the bin and pulled out a single buttery crumpet, and then unhooked the thermos of my tea from my bag. I made you some crumpets. I have black tea with sugar and milk, too. Shane paled, and I rushed to unwrap the crumpet to show him the unscathed surface. No, don't worry. I followed the instructions to the letter. There's no way I messed up anything. Shane looked less convinced, but he gently took the crumpet from my hand. Maybe he felt bad for making such a big deal of it last time, or maybe he knew the crumpets were so basic and it was almost impossible to mess them up. He carefully inspected its surface, the buttering having cooled, forming a glaze between the cut halves. Not bad. It smells pretty good, too. He peeled off a chunk and brought it to his lips. You made them yourself, he said. I nodded fiercely. He stared into the crumpet chunk. He glanced at me inside. Nothing for it. He popped the chunk into his mouth, chewing thoughtfully. His head tilted from side to side. I was practically bursting, unable to breathe until I saw his reaction.
Yeah.
Not bad at all, Hannah.
Yay!
I grabbed the other crumpets from the bin, ready to put them all on display, and in that moment, Shane wolfed down the entire rest of the crumpet. Irk! Shane's flew in a choke. Oh shit. Okay, I think I know where the kitty figurine went. And started to cough. He stood in his chair and knocked to the floor behind him. The room fell silent as I realized what was happening. He's choking! Somebody help him! I scanned the room, the Norwood stable, the hidden block stable, but all faces stared blankly at me. At this rate, Shane was going to die! I had to try something! Anything! Ask for help! I'll be right back, I'm gonna get the nurse, okay? I hesitated for a moment and mentally smacked myself from assuming he would respond. I bolted from the hall to hall until I reached the nurse's office and threw open the door. May I just killed somebody! Mr. McPasta hunched over a piece of paper and straightened up immediately. You did what? Crumpets! Shade friend! Little girl pancakes! Feeling emotions! Just please hurry! He's choking! The nurse jumped to his feet and immediately strode to the door. Lead the way. Our steps weren't loud against the concrete, but near the cafeteria, Shane's hacking coughs became clearly audible. Shane? Did I really kill the boy, like with my cooking? His life brought a cold end to my warm, spongy cakes? I thought it was fast enough. I thought I could have made it back before anything serious happened, but in reality, I abandoned him when he needed me most. The nurse ran in ahead of me, and I ran around the corner, and I heard a massive gasp. Not quite a gasp, an exhale. Shane was over gasping for breath, hands around his neck. Mine stood behind him, one hand on his back. Is it all out? It's fine. I just need a drink. Peered at something on the floor. A thick cluster of soggy, unbroken crumpet. Something finely green was poking out of it. I knew where my figurine went. Her itty-bitty kitty head smiled at me from the mush. Hopefully she didn't want it back. I wanted to say something to Shane, but no matter I tried, I couldn't make my body move. McPasta gently stood Shane straight.
Are you feeling alright?
Shane nodded, still trying to catch his breath. We should probably do an examination back in my office. When you feel ready, come on up. McPasta nodded at him. So I've almost killed Shane twice now. This is literally try and kill him, the campaign. I was surprised he didn't stick around. But the sole nurse in the school, it was probably bad for him to leave the office for so long. I leaned against a chair, much of the color returning to his face. When he finally looked at least somewhat well, he turned to the door.
Shane.
Oh, no, that's enough. It's probably best to give him some time to recover. That was probably a pretty horrific incident. I can't believe I just ran off. I feel horrible. Please, if Maya showed up when she did, then you've still been his only hope. It was the best way you could have helped. It's scary, but you could have been a lot worse. None of us knew what to do, so honestly, thank you, Hannah. Jer was suave as ever, even at a time like this. Lucky I got here when I did. But it's not like a few more seconds would have actually killed him. She smiled nervously at me. My distress is more apparent than I thought. Don't think too hard on it, Hannah. It's just another lesson learned from our cooking. She and Jared chuckled. I couldn't help but smile just a little. I hope Shane was alright. Guilt followed me like a hunting dog. Shane was built in my everyday routine. I went to class with him, ate with him, and I walked the halls with him. It was painful to see him everywhere, especially when I felt so bad. Eventually, I started avoiding him. When people asked me where I was, I told them I had things to take care of. Besides, I really did have more important things to take care of. I held the right trigger button, forcing blocks to lift from the floor. I was liking matches, even the single-player round. I liked having more blocks to play with. It helped me get better change, and honestly, it felt better to look at. I set my fingers at the first combo. I glanced at my score. It had been 2 minutes, yet my score was so low. Even intermediate players know how to focus on the score instead of time. Shane popped in my head. As he did, my hand slipped. I covered the wrong block, and my 11 chain combo vanished from view. No! Are you kidding me? I sighed and starting over from scratch. Jared told me to give me Shane some time to shulk. Would he really forgive me if I just let him wallow?
Hey.
Hey, Anna. How was there ever a bad time to apologize? What if you got mad that I didn't? What if it seemed half-heartedly by the time I finally did? Hana? Caddy tapped my forehead. Caddy! What are you doing here? I could be asking you the same thing. Not gonna eat with the rest of them? He pointed at my phone, a glint in his eye. Oh, you know, just practicing. Caddy sighed and took a seat on the bench. Too much sheen. So, something's on your mind, right? I heard about what was up with Shane. Is it really bothering you this much? I'm not sure what I should do. I want to apologize to him, but Jared said it'd make things worse. I can't help feeling that it's my only option I have. Why do you feel like you have to? It doesn't seem like to me that you have much to be worried about. Not much to be worried about? He doesn't even look at me anymore. He slumps around, completely ignoring me. He even turns his head away. It has to be on purpose. Caddy lifted his brows at my sudden burst, but he didn't seem to be shaken at it at all. He left his hand through the air as dispersing the moment from the time. Hana, you have to make it sound like you've been doing nothing but staring at him every waking moment. Does he really give anyone any attention if they're not talking to him? I haven't seen anyone without a word with him for a good while now. It's just as you said, he just slumps around, dragging his feet, barely alive. And yet somehow he's more productive than ever. Like my British accents, guys, absolutely garbage. Leaning towards me, talking in a slight whisper. Shane's not the kind of person to hide his anger. If he really has a problem with someone, he'll do what he has to do to work it out. As you know, one time the British student coalition was split down the middle. It was a nightmare. I balked. The idea of Shane wasn't angry. It was harder to believe than the fact that Asagao had a secret society reserved specifically for foreign students. And why has he been like this? Why hasn't he told us what's wrong? I wish I knew. For whatever reason, he finds it easier to disappear. No warning, no goodbyes, no anything, just the absence of Shane. Don't take it personally, Hana. Seriously, if he was mad at you, you'd know.
Yeah.
Think of it as Shane's super secret selection season. Fucking hell, what is with these S's? I'm gonna kill fucking, like, Shane just to get the... I'm gonna call him Hane from now on. There's a reason for it, but the reason is for him, and only him to know. I glanced down at my phone, a small army is dancing across the screen. If this was true, maybe I really should leave him alone. Caddy leaned over to examine my screen. That game's harder when you're playing against other people, right? Way harder. Anyways, thanks for your help, but, why are you out here instead of having lunch with a hidden block? You know, I just wanted some fresh air and I saw you sitting here, no other reason. He chuckled nervously and stood.
See you later.
Well, it's about time for class. I'll see you around, Hannah.
Bye.
Bye, Caddy. See you at the tournament. Caddy turned and screamed at me from halfway down the walk. You'll regret going against us! I watched Caddy go, still feeling a bit unsettled. Everyone kept saying I should apologize to Shane, but I wasn't so sure. I almost killed him after all. Shouldn't I at least give it a shot? If everyone's saying to let it be, let it be. I should just let him be. The others were right. He would come around eventually. But as time went on, my faith in Shane started to shake. A straight week passed before he hadn't spoken to me. Everyone kept telling me not to worry and that Shane wouldn't be mad, that Shane wasn't the type of guy to let him, or to let it get to him, or to let him have him cool off. But at this point, I wasn't worried about him cooling off. I was worried about me. I couldn't get it out of my mind at lunch in class. I was always staring at him, wondering if we were cool. I almost never saw Shane in the mornings anymore. He always slipped into class before the bell rang. That's why when I saw him rushing to Poppy that morning, I found myself hesitating.
Hey.
Hey, go on without me. I need to grab something real quick. Really? But... Sorry. I slipped away after him, following him right through the halls. I had to finally talk to him. I couldn't live with it on my mind every hour of every day. I kept a bit of distance between us, hoping he wouldn't turn around and see me. Wouldn't this be easier if I did disguise? I elbowed the trash can in the middle of the hall. Shane turned at the staircase ahead of me, and I waited a minute before following him up on the heavy door, leading outside to the rooftop. You have a rooftop? I had no idea this place even existed. Even Gerard, of all people, didn't show it to me on the tour. Was it a secret? Were the students not meant to know about it? I peeked out the window and sighted the door, but all I could make out was the bright turquoise of Shane's normal boot jacket. He was crouched over something. What was he doing? I took a deep breath and pushed open the door as silently as I could. He was watering the flowers. Shane stood over a box lined with blooming flowers, watering can in hand. The watering can plants, a light breeze swept across the rooftop, stirring his hair and the leaves. They almost looked like they were trembling in happiness. I must have gasped or made another noise because Shane looked over his shoulder. I'm sorry. Don't be. Are you the gardener? Yes, I get up early anyways. As he turned towards me, his water can swam with him. Little droplets of water shook off, dotting in the concrete. Why don't you come and sit? Really? He stared at me blankly as I hastily crossed over the bench and sat down. It wasn't every day that Shane was so open, after all. I clasped my hands together, watching Shane water the plants. It was just the two of us in the sky. I didn't feel weird at all. Usually, the silence between us made me uncomfortable, and I spent all my energy trying to fill it. But this was nice. You weren't ignoring me then. That's a relief. Oh no, I was. What? Originally, I was just hoping we wouldn't acknowledge it. Then I got this job. What was I supposed to do? He lifted up his watering can and started pouring it out to the single flower. For a while. I didn't know how to approach you, so I know you felt bad. And then so much time has passed, there was no way to not to acknowledge it. At least you don't hate me. Shane chuckled softly, the last few drops of water falling onto the poor flower. Of course not. He picked up the pair of clippers and with almost no ceremony snipped off the wilting leaf at the stem. First you drowned the poor thing and then you cut off a perfectly healthy leaves? He stopped, looking between the clip foliage and me. Who hired you to be the gardener? Shane looked sadly down at his main plant. No one else wanted to do it. I couldn't let them die. Shane. No, I was joking. They're not gonna like you after they've seen what they've done to your friends. Do you want some help? Shane looked at his plants and back at me. They're not bad. They actually look quite healthy. So, my mother used to garden, and I know a lot about plants because of that. I joined him at the box and he offered his watering can. Thanks. I crouched low, examining the plants just as he was tending. Don't cut off the stems that aren't completely dead. They'll perk up eventually with some water and sunlight. For some reason, being near plants made me lower my voice, like I was talking to a child or someone who was scared. I didn't want to alarm them, I wanted them to feel safe. Shane nodded, staring hard at the plant. Knowing him, he was committing the information to memory. Maybe I should come up with you in the mornings. I have to make sure you don't kill the flowers after all. Fair enough, Flower Queen. Why didn't you tell me about this anyways? I didn't want to tell the guys. Now that I thought of it, I didn't blame him. They never let it live it down. It's really great you're doing this. It's nothing, really. I headed the Water King back to Shane, and he took his dusty little shed into the corner of the roof. I followed him to the door, scanning the garden as I went. Oh, an Asagao flower! A morning glory bloomed in the box next to me. I didn't know they grew here! It's kind of the name of the school. That's right, Asagao Academy, of course. Of course they had them around. It was the first one to show up this spring. My mom used to grow morning glories. She loved them. Does she garden a lot? She did when she was still around. Oh, sorry. After she passed away, my dad tried to take care of her flowers. They died too. She was an amazing gardener, though. People loved her flowers, and she loved them like they were her own children. Hana means flower, and I like to think she named me after that, after things she brought her the most joy. We both stood in silence, watching the single blue flower tremble in the breeze. It'll be great to see them around here, especially if you're taking such good care of them. Hana, push him off the roof. No one will ever know, and you'll think they just commit suicide. Kill the asshole! I still hate Shane. I don't care about this route. I took a deep breath and accepted my mother's death a long time ago, but I almost never talked about it. I wasn't even sure if whether I knew. They will be great, with your help. This might not be the best time for me to say this, but I've been thinking. Shane studied the skyline, and I turned to join him, watching the clouds billow over the distant green mountains. About you. On the team, I mean. I know how hard you've worked to get better at Dumbledore's revenge. While you're not here, we all like you to be. I want you on the team. You do? Yes. That's it? Yes. You're not gonna make me jump through any more hoops? Another skills test? Some homework? Some list of combo techniques? No more of that. I'm sorry I give you a hard time. I just want to make sure you have the potential. And then you finally saw it. Thanks, it means a lot you changed your mind. You know I'll do my best. When you fail, it'll be more of a, I told you so. Shane! He raised his hands up, fraying innocence. Let's go to class before I find a way to blackmail you. Push him off the roof! Shane and I started meeting up at the rooftop early morning every morning. In no time, I was caring for the flowers under his gentle guidance. So this one, huh? I tilted my water can over the richly purple irises. They remind me of morning glories. Shane stepped out from behind the flower aisles and a large, oddly shaped watering can in his hands. I get that a lot. Took the watering can and instead of watering to one spot as I expected. The can watered 9. Whoa, that's incredible. A gardener's gotta look after his tools too. Siberian irises need lots of water. The smallest difference can change whether something lives or dies. That should be good. We're running late. I checked my phone, realizing for the first time exactly how late we were. We hurried to the first floor, hoping class hadn't started. We would never hear the end of it if we showed up late together. Not just from the class, but from Miss Shiz. We neared the door and John poked his head out. Aww. Was he cooing at us? It almost seemed like he was imitating Jax. Shane narrowed his eyes. What? John slid in the classroom as we approached. Miss Shiz must not have been in yet. Shane and I walked into the classroom together, so relieved to be on time that we didn't give the action much thought. Right on cue. Shane stopped in the doorway, arms crossed.
Really?
Gee, you two are together an awful lot lately, don't you think? You should call them a duo, maybe a pair, or a couple. There was something about what they were saying that seemed rehearsed. Shane's glare could have pierced metal. I didn't think the others minded. Come to think of it, I don't think this is a recent development.
See?
I do believe you're correct. This strange togetherness has been going on for a while now, hasn't it? Shane stepped to my side and leaned into my ear. Ignore them. John's eyes glittered as he watched Shane pull away, and he whistled. Woohoo! Sharing sweet nothings already? Guys, really? That's enough.
Right?
Sorry, Hannah, but you gotta admit, you two have been together an awful lot lately. If people didn't know any better, they might get a few ideas. He had nudged John into the side. Oh, right! John lifted his arms over his head and then brought them down slowly and exaggeratingly to rest my shoulders. Dramatic. Hannah, in honor of your solving the most difficult of puzzles. Shot a look at Shane, who balked. I hereby crown you the official puzzle master.
Yay!
Oh, neat. What does this mean? Nothing really. Oh. Shane sighed, then bypassed them on his way to sleep. Might want to stop. Miss Shiz is coming. As he scrambled to her desk, I couldn't help but something was off. They might be calling the puzzle master, but I felt like the puzzle was far from solved. Just getting comfortable. There's a one.
Hey.
Yes, Anna. He didn't even look up, so absorbed in transplanting a bunch of lilies from one box to the other. I realized today I don't know much about you. Shane made no move to respond as expected. It's just that I feel like everyone knows more about you than I do. We haven't been friends that long, nothing personal.
Well,
Why did you leave England? You never talked about that. I wanted to. Okay. Why did you want to? The timing was good. Okay, but why was that? It worked out like that. Shane! All my attempts to get to know Shane turned into this kind of verbal dodgeball match. Never mind. He rolled up his sleeve and began to pat down the dirt as he laid his flower. I stood nearby, a water can in hand. Sorry, Hannah, nothing to tell. As much as I could believe Shane led a boring life, I felt like there was more to it. But if Shane didn't want to tell me, he wasn't going to. I shouldn't push it. Especially since he only recently began to trust me. Ready to water? Right. I lifted the pot over to the lilies. Steady. Right now, all of Shane's attention was planting on the planting process. Part of me understood. Lilies had this thing about wilting that he didn't know would plant them exactly right. But part of me also felt like his focus was incredibly sharp for someone so used to gardening. I finished watering the lilies and Shane examined their leaves. I'm gonna get some fertilizer from the art closet.
Yeah.
Good idea. The art closet was the biggest supply closet in school, so there was that. So that's where Shane put his fertilizer. To the arts. He put it in the art closet. How stupid is that? I charged down the staircase down the hallway, only to be immediately accosted.
Hey.
Hana! John called me halfway down the hall, Jimmy glaring next to him. Really enlightened, Jimmy. This kid doesn't think that Cole is the best character in Steven Galaxy. That's because Mirror is the best. See this, Hana? Jim makes it like the inanimate object. Cole isn't alive either.
Huh.
Was once. From Mirror to Cole, but actually, sorry, John.
What?
What? But Cole has 3 eyes. Is he talking about Garnet? John was left speechless, completely unable to defend his objectively inferior character. But
Yeah!
good job, Hana! Whatever. Anyways, where's Shane? Aren't you two usually together right about now? Really? What's this about? I glared at the both of them, deciding not to give John the satisfaction of being flustered. I'm gonna grab something, that's all. Sure, I'm sure that's what it all is. John chuckled and I resist the urge to punch him. The thought occurred to me. If John was close enough to Shane to make fun of him. You and Shane are good friends, right? Yeah, he's probably one of my best friends. Why? I wanted to know more about Shane, but obviously Shane. If Shane didn't want to tell me, I wasn't supposed to know. But Shane didn't seem like he would ever tell me or anything else. He didn't seem the type to talk about himself. Can I just ask John? Nothing. Forget about it. If you say so. Really, it's fine. I didn't want to pry or be nosy. If Shane found out that I knew because John told me, it would only be a breach of trust, not to mention that John would probably get in trouble too. But that didn't stop me from wanting to know. Just ask Shane yourself. I feel like he's more open with you than us.
Hey.
Maybe I should get going. I'm supposed to be right back. Any longer, he'll know something's up.
See ya.
Best of luck, Hana. When I got back to the roof, Shane was waiting near the door, both our bags in his hands. Fertilizer. Ah! I ran into John and Jimmy, completely forgot. Let me go back. I pivoted and started down the stairs, but Shane grabbed the collar of my shirt and pulled me back. Class is starting, there's always tomorrow. Right. I tried to get my bag from him, but Shane walked right past me.
Shane.
What? Was he trying to carry my bag for me? Don't you need to lock the door? Right. He put my bag under his arm and locked the door to the roof, and then he headed back down the stairs. Coming. Yeah, right behind you. Shane, sweet when you least expect it. Rooftop. Shane didn't text me often, or at all. When I got this text from him, I assumed something must be up. In fact, I was worried. I threw my uniform and ran to the rooftop. The wind blew hard against the door, and it took all my strength to push it open. Shane sat alone on the bench, staring wistfully into the skyline. I rushed into his side. Shane, are you okay? He jolted, as awoken from a From a what? And he stared blankly at me. I'm fine. Oh. Another gust of wind blew through the space between us, chilling down to my bones. I drew my uniform coat tight around me, mentally cursing the thin fabric. I was sleeping when you texted me. Oh, sorry. He didn't seem to want to say anything else. Finally, I sat next to him. As I did, he scooted an inch away. I sighed, my breath turning into fog in front of me. It's cold out tonight. Yeah. We sat in silence for a few moments. Shane didn't seem cold at all, but then Shane also had his normal boots jacket. Those things looked toasty as heck. How was your night? Fine. I nodded slowly. Why did he call me up here? He wasn't giving me anything to work with. Anything specific I could help with? Not really. Oh.
Well,
That's good, I think. I trailed off, fiddling with loose strings on my sleeve. I had to cut off later. Yeah. My teeth chattered. I grit them to stop from making the noise. I was still on the rooftop, and there was no sign from the wind cutting across the edges of the building. Asagao was far enough from the city that that it almost looked like being in another world, an oasis of nature and academia. Now that I thought about it, it was probably intentional. The silence was nice, but it was really freezing out. He wasn't saying anything, and I was dying of cold. I was starting to lose my patience. I closed my eye and took a few deep breaths. I'm gonna head back to the doors. Want to come with? Shane shook his head. Alright, well, I'm heading in. I looked meaningfully at him.
Okay.
Alright, see you in class. I stood, my knees creaking, and then started away. But Shane grabbed my hand almost instantly, and he released it.
No.
You're being rude. What? She never spoke so directly to me or anyone, or such an insulting way. I was trying to talk. I didn't experience any of that trying. You weren't saying anything. How is it my fault? How am I being the one rude? I couldn't think of anything to say. He looked away and his head dropping into his chest. He really did seem kind of sad. You don't know me well, right? Maybe I can fix that? I sat down on the bench close to Shane. This time he didn't move away. Why didn't you just say so? I'm not good at talking about myself. I could tell.
well,
I do want to know why you came to Asagao. When I asked, you avoided the question. What about my favorite color? I could tell you that. That's not what I wanted to know. It's blue. I stared at him. What's yours? Shane, please. I just want to understand you better. I feel like there's something important that you're not telling me. I care about you. So I just want... I trailed off, not knowing how to complete that sentence. Shane shifted next to me, a blush tinting his cheeks. Finally, he sighed. I had a girlfriend in England. You did? Her name was Emily. Like Emma. I thought my world revolved around her, but soon I realized it wasn't just mine. She was the center of everything without even trying. It just happened. It was weird. Good things, bad things. Nothing seemed to be moving unless she was around for it. I'm not joking. Towards the end, I started thinking the world generally revolved around her. Man, I probably sound really stupid. No, you're fine. She would get involved in things like the government. I don't know what I was going to do, what was going on, but she seemed like an agent for them or something. Since I was her boyfriend, I got held captive a few times? Oh my god, Shane! It's fine, she always saved me in the end, but... Did you not like her because of it? He scratched his chin. Well, no, I liked her a lot. She was glamorous, outgoing, kind-hearted, beautiful. Everything gravitated towards her, and I did the same, maybe without realizing. It's strange. I don't even remember how we got together. I'm so quiet, it almost didn't make sense. It just happened. She had a real passion for life. I nodded, maybe a little uncomfortable to hear so much about Emily. It seemed like he liked her a real lot. I wasn't the only one who noticed her, though. A lot of people liked her too, and she seemed to let them. And it hurt. My comment was inspired by her, actually. He cleared his throat, turning away to hide the blush on his cheek. Oh, the one you showed with me? With Emma? Oh. Emily. Emma, of course. You know, the two are alike now I think about it. We are? You both get excited at the drop of a hat. He nodded, finally making eye contact with me for the first time since I came up here. Emily had pink hair, too.
what?
And even my mom had pink hair. I'd never heard... It isn't common. It's very, very rare. He looked at me expectingly. That's why you were suspicious of me. He nodded, picking the hem of his jacket. I was worried the pink hair meant you'd be similar.
Well...
It sounded ridiculous, but I reached the conclusion, especially after you just happened to get involved with the club, that you were the same. I see. What you did to find out. You are. You both have that same magnetic quality. You mean? But Emily was kind of selfish. She was used to everything being about her. She came from a rich family and always had friends, always had boys following her around. It made her empathetic. She was always focused on herself because the world always focused on her. That was what made her dangerous. You, however, are quiet and generous.
Yeah.
You haven't been fed with a silver spoon, and I've been wondering whether you've struggled and you've turned out better. Whether the world would still revolve around you, but in a worse way.
I don't know.
Maybe you have a way of making the world work without you to help others, not just for your own benefit? I was stunned. Shane had obviously been thinking about this and observing me for a long time. He wasn't comfortable talking about himself, but it was obvious from his clipped sentences and fidgeting that it was a hard target for him. He must have been hurt a lot. It wasn't all bad. While we were together, I realized there was more I could be doing, and she helped me realize that, though unintentionally. It was the only way I could escape the situations I was caught up in. So without her, he'd still be there. We broke up and I came here. The art program is much better. I've yet to find another inspiration for my comic. He swallowed hard. Except for you, I mean. Me? Your inspiration? Thanks. I never thought it'd be anything close to an inspiration. If I was being truthful, Shane was the one inspiring me. Shane, Mai, and the rest of the Normal Boots Club were helping me become the person I always wanted to be. But then my mind drifted to the classroom, back when he was drawing my expressions. He crumpled up the paper he drew me on. Why is it when you draw me, you end up getting frustrated? You threw that last one of me away. I don't like being the one that makes you mad at yourself. It's not your fault. I studied Shane's face. He truly seemed sincere. I felt like I was interrogating him at this point, but I got this far. What is it then? I don't think I'm doing you justice. Take as much time as you need then. I'll be your model whenever you want me to. I'll be your inspiration as long as you need. Oh, thanks. Shane looked over to me and the deer in the headlights. His ears were slightly pink. Of course. He started to speak and then stopped. Suddenly his face darkened and turned away. Shane, is everything okay? It's nothing. And just like that, we were right back to where we started. Don't pry, Hannah. Don't pry. You've done enough of that.
Hey.
Why are you supporting me? I've given you nothing but trouble this entire time. What? What are you saying? I've been nothing but mean to you. I don't think I deserve... Mom. I pressed my fingers to his lips, then he flushed away as I felt their softness. I think everyone deserves to be believed in, as long as they're working hard and trying. You never disappoint me with your drawings, and that's why I would never stop... Why would I ever stop supporting you? But you didn't believe me because I gave you no reason to do so, and that's fine. Of course, it sucked. It definitely sucked, but he had no reason to trust me, and I was entitled to that trust. But you impressed me from the beginning with your drawings. To put it another way, I have no reason to support you.
No.
I feel like you have plenty. Well, I don't. I stick my tongue at him, and then the serious look vanished from his face. Double my thanks, then. I laughed. It's doubled happy? I am. Shane and I strolled down the rooftop garden. After the conversation ended, the atmosphere around us lighter than ever. It seemed like Shane could finally look me in the eye and see me for me. For the first time, the color of my hair wasn't standing between us. He smiled gently down at me and surveyed our mishaps and family and plans. My heart was struck. I wanted to date Shane. Mai, I need your help. Huh? After Shane finally opened up to me, I realized I wanted to be something more. Shane was carrying around some baggage with his ex-girlfriend. It seemed like he really cared about her. Maybe he still did. I shook my head around roughly. No, it was not the time to be thinking about that. The point was I wanted to take our relationship to the next level. And to do that, I needed help. I've been thinking about, again, doing some nice things with Shane. Something about makeup all the times I've almost killed him. I put a hand on her hip. Too late, I realized I raised her hackles. You don't have to make up for anything, Hannah. Those are accidents. Accidents! I mean, yeah, but I'm not going to help you if you apologize for something that didn't even need apologizing for. I thought. But I will help you do something nice for Shane because you're a good person. Thanks, but actually I wanted to ask him on a date.
What?
You what? Her voice veered to the highest of pitches, suddenly transforming into a sonar. I was thinking of taking on a picnic. Picnics are good dates, right? Are you kidding me? Picnics are the cutest things. I watched this rom-com with Meanie last year, and the dude accidentally cheated on his wife with this other lady. And he was like, please, baby, come on this picnic. right all my wrongs. And she was like, no, how dare you ask me that? And then they broke up. But I didn't cheat on Shane.
Yeah.
Exactly, so it'll work out. There's no one in this world that could be more angry after a gift fix. Except for that lady in the movie. Yes, alright, Hannah, except for the lady in the movie. But that's like the 1 out of probability of a billion picnics, and I feel like I've been a billion picnics in the world. I didn't know you were close with Mimi either. Yeah, well, at one point. That's not important. You think it's a good idea, though? I'm not sure how he's the picnic type. I scoffed. Everyone's the picnic type at a picnic. She wrapped her arm around my shoulder and gestured me to the wide horizon in front of us. In reality, it was a blank wall, but to Mai, it was an endless plain of flowering grains and purple mountains. Pick the sunniest day of next week and nothing can go wrong. That's the thing, though. I've never been on a picnic before, and I'm terrified I'll mess it up. Just like that, all of the times. I put her hand to her chin. Well, you do have a knack for screwing up. It's so strange. You've been so captivated in almost every other route. Why is this one just your route? What?
Bingo.
Anyways, have no fear. Mai's here to help you. Some candles, drink, music for the atmosphere. Wait, really?
No.
No, of course not. I mean, unless you're ready for that kind of picnic. Really, all you need is food and a blanket, pretty much. Food? I made more crumpets for Shane to choke on? Oh, right. Grocery stores exist. I pulled my phone out of my pocket and opened up the weather app. Sunny, sunny, sunny. For the next 2 weeks, not a speck of rain. Wasn't as warm as it could be, but at least there was no rain.
Yay!
This is gonna be really fun. I'm excited now.
Yeah.
Are you? That's wonderful. Can you help me pack? I have to go practice, or I would. I'll be back later to help you, alright? Great. Mai waved and sprinted down the hall. I set off for the dorm, heart soaring. I was hope was the thing with feathers after all. Maybe Shane and I finally had a chance to have a good time. A few hours later, I was pouring my list out for a picnic, a pile of miscellaneous objects in front of me. I had to prioritize economy. We'd be taking the best blanket across the field, and I didn't want it to be too heavy. I didn't want to miss anything either. My last few attempts to do something nice for Shane backfired horribly. I was not gonna let this go wrong. No, it's fine, Jared. I won't definitely mind. Huh?
Jared.
Jared? You seem busy. Oh no, don't mind me. I'm just packing. Did Jared know anything about me and Shane? Did I tell him, or did he agree with the other guys that we must secretly like each other? Even though I was currently preparing to ask Shane on a date, I didn't necessarily want Jared to know about my feelings. I was focused on the blanket, dropping in the bottle of hand sanitizer. Yeah. Jared's gonna hang out here for a bit. Really don't have to, though. I can find somewhere else to be. Jared stood in the door, watching me eagerly. I wasn't sure what he wanted me to let him in or not, or trying to keep him out. No, it's fine, really. Oh, great. Jared shuffled into the room, my bouncing in after him. What's going on, though?
Well...
Satch is making an invention for the tournament. It's kind of exploded. What? Everyone's fine. You just didn't want me around. I'm kind of surprised you're not helping him clean up. Seems like something you do. Jared tossed his hair, a small grin on his face. Oh, I definitely try. Satch told me my delicate fingers were better put used to serving the long maidens of the school. Did he now? Plus, I don't know where all the Grimzos go, and he said I'd probably break it if I tried to. That I believed. Stay here as long as you like. I climbed up in her bed, winking at me as she passed. How on earth did she figure, like, for this to happen? Wasn't she waiting outside his door for this? Was she? She wasn't. Was she? Wait, did mine cause the explosion? Jared tiptoed around my pile on the floor and sat on my desk chair.
Hey.
So, Hana, you know the fashion show, right? I told you about that, didn't I? Of course, but if you haven't, I would have known about it. I mean, maybe you should put posters or something. It seems like it would have been a good idea. You laugh. The fight he and Paul at the beginning of the year was apparently water under the bridge. I almost didn't remember that happened. They didn't hold it against each other or anything. I mean, how is disagreement supposed to work? But that didn't mean I wasn't amazed that it actually happened that way. You come, won't you? There's no way I'll feel comfortable on stage without my beloved nymph's eyes on me. Beloved nymphs? Was he talking about me? Yeah, of course I'll come.
Nice.
Great. You two can go together. Jared beamed at me for mine, and suddenly realized he probably wanted me for more than just my presence. I crawled to the edge of her bed, peeking over the railing at me. So, what are you doing? Oh, you know, packing things for the picnic. Oh, your date? I glanced quickly at Jared, who seemed suddenly very interested in what was happening. Have you asked him yet? I'm sure Mike! Could you double check that I have everything?
What?
Wait, you haven't asked him? No, I have to be prepared. Mai rolled her eyes. Understatements of the year. Is there a list then? Right, here. Ah. I handed my list and Mai flipped off the table off her bed, nearly smacking Jared in the face. My regret was pliable. Don't worry, Jared. Oh, it's only for a little while. You can pull through.
Perfection.
Let's get to me. She handed the list back to me almost immediately. Did she even bother looking? I was trying to change the subject, but I sincerely wanted her to check things over. What if she missed something? Ask her to double check. Actually, can you check again? Maybe it's a bit more thoroughly? I really don't want to mess this one up. First time not good enough. She said it jokingly, but I could tell that she was a little irritated. Mine wasn't very good at hiding her true feelings. I dared to glance at Jared. Well, if you don't want to... no, of course I'll check again. I was a little fast. I doubled over again, this time taking everything out of the basket and pulling it back one by one. Not really in the same place, but who was I keeping track?
Bingo.
Everything's there, Hana. You did a good job, so don't worry too much about it. Just think about how you're going to ask him. That's a bigger challenge than here. I'm really glad you're here to help me out. I'm kind of panicking. I've never been on a real date before. What about the flower festival? Right, the flower festival. I wasn't quite sure that counted, but...
I'll support you.
Well, no worries. We're friends after all. You can always ask us for help. Jared's cell phone went off and he grasped it like a liquor of life. Oh, it's sad. She says he's all done. Thanks so much for your gracious stay, ladies, but I must be on my way. But Jared, don't you want to stay? Jared was already at the door. Mai, are you okay? Yeah, I'm fine. Don't worry about me. You'll have a date to prepare for. Right. If you say so. Mai and Jared. It didn't seem like they would ever date, but I hope that maybe one day they could at least be friends. Chapter 4, final chapter. Gonna choke on the fucking picnic? I spent hours packing and repacking the picnic bag, making sure I didn't forget anything that was Megan, English, please. Now that everything was all set up, it was time to ask Shane. But since that was all I needed to do, I found myself putting it off. It could wait till tomorrow's lunch after all. I stretched and stood. It was a little early, but I could probably go to bed. My phone started vibrating and I snatched it up. Having difficulty with page 112. Help me. I blinked up my phone. Shane? Asking for help? I started to type back, but it was interrupted by another text. Please. Grinning, I sent my response. See you in class in 20. I hopped off my bunk, throwing my books back into my bag. I groaned. How are you always so energetic? Are you seriously asking me that question? Oh, are you going to ask Shane now? Asking Shane? Now would be the perfect time, but suddenly a prospect terrified me. Yeah, I'm doing it. Oh, Hana, I wish you the very best. Jumping off her bed, Mai ran into her desk and flung open her drawer. After digging around for a while, she turned back to me.
Yeah!
Hi-ya! Small sprinklers of pink flirted my vision. Cherry blossoms again. It worked last time, right? Yeah, I guess it did.
Yeah!
You'll do wonderfully. Get out of here and kick his ass! Metaphorically, with love. Will do. Thanks, Mai. With trembling smile, I headed for the classroom. It was starting to get late. Shane and I wouldn't be able to study together for very long, but as meeting up this late would ensure that we were alone together in the classroom. Alone together in the classroom. Alone. Together. Snap out of it, Hana! You have to bigger things to worry about it! When I got to the classroom, Shane was already seated, face in his hands. You're here!
Hey.
Yeah. Thank you for helping me. No problem. I pulled out a chair the opposite of Shane, grabbed my math textbook, and started sharing space on his desk. So, page 112.
What?
What? Do you need help with the problem on page 112?
Yes.
Oh, yes. I definitely needed your help, yes. Okay. Was it just me or was Shane acting weird? Shane's notebook was already open on his desk, so I pulled it towards me, examined his work. That's weird. What? I mean, all your work is right, but for some reason your answers are wrong. Shane snatched his notebook out of my hand, shoved it in his bed. Forget about it, that's not important. But, did you need help? No, I'm fine now. An awkward tension built up between us. Outside, the sun finally set, and night seeped into the loud emptiness of the room. I had to ask him at some point, didn't I? Maybe now would be a good time. But this was so awkward! I cleared my throat, taking a deep, deep breath.
Shane.
Hey.
Do you want to hang out sometime?
What?
What?
Were you gonna say something? Forget about it. What were you gonna say? I was wondering if you wanted to go on a picnic with me. A picnic?
Yeah.
Yeah, a picnic at the park. I have everything ready. Impressive. Did you make the food already too? I was just gonna buy it at this time. Don't worry. I'm not. I'm gonna make the food. You?
Yes.
Oh. Wait, now?
Yeah.
Yeah, care to join me? If you store it well, it'll still be good tomorrow. We're going tomorrow? It doesn't have to be so soon. I planned to do it that weekend, but now it's actually happening. I found myself wanting to put on the brakes. I don't want to psych myself out. Oh, that's a good point. Let's do it tomorrow. After school, then the kitchens we go. Right now? Yes, right now. Let's go. Okay. As we stepped out into the night's velvet darkness, Shane silently seemed to realize the time. Oh, maybe we shouldn't do it today. Tomorrow morning? And then we could go to the picnic the day after the tournament. Perfect.
Yay!
Perfect! Why don't I walk you to your dorm then? You're pathetic. You're perfect, pathetic. Perfect gentleman. We scuffled across the sidewalk, wading through the slightly humid air, and Shane suddenly grew quiet.
Hey!
Is something on your mind?
Well.
Can I bring my sketchbook to the picnic? Oh, right. I agreed to be Shane's model, didn't I? But surely you meant to draw the landscapes. The park's really a pretty place to I mean, to draw you. There went that idea. I've been afraid to ask for a while. What's that? Shane shrugged, one hand in his pocket. I thought you'd be uncomfortable. If you're not into it, I don't want to. I mean, it helps me too in a way.
What?
Helps you. I'm really shy, Shane. I wasn't always this shy. I mean, I've always been shy, but after last year, it just got out of control, and especially when I first came here. It's weird to think how hesitant and afraid I was in the beginning of the school year. I was desperate to fit in, to belong, paranoid about my hair, absolutely sure that one wrong move would make everyone hate me. Especially Shane, since he had the problem with me from the start. But look where we are now. I remember. Pushing myself like this helps me become less shy. It reminds me of what I was like when I was younger. I didn't realize you liked it. I wouldn't say I liked it. Oh. But there are worse things in this world than being stared at for hours on end by you. Yeah, well... But picnic, would it be too weird to bring my sketchbook? It doesn't seem exactly fun to you. Yeah, of course he can bring it. I agreed to be your model a while ago. I'm not going back down now.
Yeah.
Great, I've been practicing. I want to see if I can prove what I've done for you. I like to see it too. I want to start up my comic again. This is good practice. You reach for the entrance of Primrose House, Shane kicking the ground aimlessly. Well, let's see you tomorrow, I guess. Thank you for walking me home, Shane. I'm really looking forward to tomorrow. Ugh, get comfy again. Yeah, me too, I guess. Anyways, I'll come cook for you tomorrow morning. Sound good? Yeah.
Bye.
Great, bye. He turned on his heels and stalked back the way he came, heading for the Bluebell house. I giggled as I watched him go. It seemed like I wasn't the only shy one. I woke up early the next morning. I immediately got myself ready. Knowing Shane was such an early riser, I figured he'd be right on time to pick me up. Do. Fucking goddamn it.
Good morning.
Good morning, Shane. Morning. You look exhausted. Did you sleep well at all? I want to take care of the plants before we start cooking.
What?
Seriously, what time did you wake up? 4. Shane! It's fine. Ready to bake?
Yeah.
Of course I am. I shut the door together and we headed down the kitchens, debating on what on earth we should make for the picnic. We can't only make cookies. We need something else of substance. I'm not sure we can really bake. What would... A cake? Maybe? We entered the kitchen, which was completely empty. As expected, Shane and I put on aprons. I was not about to get gunk on our incredibly expensive uniforms. How about tea? Sandwiches. How British of you. That doesn't sound too bad. I wanted to make something special, though. Something like baking our own bread. Immediately, Shane folded his arm, eyeing me warily. Have you made bread before? Well, no, that's what the cookbook is for, right? Maybe. All we need is rye and dry yeast. Sugar, melted butter, 2 eggs, yeast, warm milk, salt, rye flour, bleach flour, vegetable oil, caraway seeds. As I read the list off, Shane pulled together the appropriate items, but all the last ingredient, which both had us both. I don't happen to know where these are, do you, Shane? Pointed at the words in the book, and Shane stroked his chin. Caraway seeds? Hang on. Shane dove into a tall cupboard, pushing aside whatever sat in his way. Bags of chocolate chips and nuts were pressed up against each other like sagging pillows. Flour and oils shifted side to side, neatly pooling out from their containers. Puffs of powder ballooned out of the cupboard and painted the counter. No, the entire area around Shane's titanium white. I closed my eyes and the cloud of flour hit me, dusting the words open of the cookbook, filling the air with nothing but its nothing smell. Shane peeped from the pantry cupboard and looked at my powder face, presenting a tiny plastic shaker. Ta-da! Caraway seeds. They're smaller than I thought. All that for this little thing? With the side of my hand, I swept up the flour resting the cookbook pages and flung it at Shane's forehead. The blast of white struck him in the face, and he cringed, recoiled, and shook around, all with a hint of sneezing coming on. What is overreacting, you turd? Look at the mess you made. Shane turned, surveying the hand and footprints he left in the flour. Whoops. It was such a dull response, but something in his voice made me think he was truly a sorry puppy. We worked together. Shane piled the ingredients as I read the instructions. We mixed the eggs, yeast, flour. Eventually, the final product was placed in the oven, and I blew a kiss before shutting the door. I suppose we could work on getting your mess cleaned up. He clapped his hand together, once again masking the air in a white smoke screen. I don't see we should rush. I doubt a single loaf of bread would suffice. What are we gonna do? What are we gonna make? We can make some more bread, or... Psst, sorry. I tried to keep myself from laughing, but it was impossible. I kept eyeing the flour makeup plaster all over his face. Nice to hear you put on your face for this. Why don't we bring something sweet, too? It didn't take long for us to decide on the thumbprint cookies. A classic. We whipped up the ingredients we needed to make the cookies super quickly. Flour, baking powder, eggs, nothing more out of the ordinary. A few minutes passed and we mixed up cookie batter. A smell of rye bread tickling our nose. It tickled our noses a lot, actually. Too much. We both knelt down to look in the oven window and attempt to see how our bread was doing. Shane inched closer and his nose pressed against the glass. I think it's done, isn't it? The timer hasn't gone off. It could be broken, or maybe this oven's hotter than expected. We shouldn't let it bake for too long. I stood and Shane looked up at me, waiting for my command. I threw on the oven mitt and grabbed a pot holder. Shane jumped up at my decision, snagged a bag of pot holders for himself, and then gave me a reassuring nod. As I opened the door, the smell of heat and cooked caraway seeds belched out in the kitchen. Will took a huge breath, beaming at each other, and then reached in for the pan. As I gripped it, I underestimated its length and lifted the stovetop, and my wrist tilted towards the pan. Hardly had the time to react before Shane took the pan from my grip, reassuring me that it was more than just a serious burn. Thanks. I bit my lip, trying to not to portray the searing pain. How does it look? Shane set the pan on the furthest rack from me, glancing out without really seeing it. It's kind of flat, probably fine. How's your hand? Shane gingerly moved to my oven mitt and examined my hand. I wiggled my fingers and smiled at him. It stings a little bit, but I'm more upset that it looks like you caught me. Red-handed? Fucking hell, Hannah. Shane closed his eyes, my grin grew even wider. Despite his best effort, a restrained chuckle smuggled his way out of him. You know, grab my hand and wiggled it over the direction of the oven. I can throw this thing back in if you really want. No, that won't be necessary, I'm sorry! I rinsed my hand with cold water as Shane examined the bread in the oven. Be honest, how does it look? Shane glanced over the pan to the cookbook and back repeatedly. It looks flat. Really, really flat. Hannah, I dried my hands and went to his side. What went wrong? Cover and set aside in a warm, draftless area and let it rinse up for 1 full hour. Shane walked over to some of the unused flour, plopped his hand into it, and walked back to me and smacked me on the forehead.
Yeah.
We can still eat it. We'll just have really thin sandwich pieces. I smiled and slid over his face, but I couldn't help but smile back. Come on, let's get those cookies laid out. With some cooperation, we emptied the glass bowl and onto the wax-lined tray. We rolled through the dough into balls, arranging them neatly on a sheet pan. When all the cookies were laid out, we took turns pressing our thumbs into the squishy balls and to make wells for the jam. Mine are so much smaller. Using a spoon, we filled the imprints with strawberry jam. That should be good for the cookies. Can you work on getting the spot cleaned up? I made sure to adjust the temperature as needed and double-checked that there was nothing notably wrong with the oven. As I brought the cookie sheet back to the stove, Shane started licking the wooden spoon to clean off the raw cookie dough. Not quite what I asked her, but good enough. As I watched, he scooped the remainder of the dough out of the bowl and plopped it into his mouth. I watched him eat about 5 cookies worth of dough. It was time to act. Stop eating the dough, you pizza!
What?
What did you just call me? He struck an entire raw cookie directly from the baking sheet into his mouth. It's a term we use here to address people like you. You're a pizza. A piece of shit! I bopped his cheek with a wooden spoon covered in dough and it splattered on his face. Now let's get these things in the oven. We bumped the cookie tray in the oven. As our last project baked, we finally cleaned the kitchen. We scrubbed the dishes, bowls, silverware, wooden spoons, everything in between. It sunk in that we weren't able to watch the cookies form, but Shane and I reminded that our labor was all every time passed in front of the oven. By the time the last dish was cleaned and squared away, the alarm dinged. I rushed over to put my mitt on the pot holder on, and we pulled out the cookies. They were perfect. Perfectly shaped, risen, colored cookies filled the kitchen with their delectable scents. The smell was so good, in fact, that Shane and I couldn't stop ourselves from eating a huge chunk of them. Gooey, warm, crisp. We forced ourselves to stop eating them. We decided to pile them together onto one large platter. There's a bunch of plasticware on the other side of the kitchen. I think. Let me go have a look. Don't worry, I'll take them over. I lifted the tray in my mittened hands. Hana! I stepped forward onto a patch of water and splashed out of the sink. My foot slid. My eyes widened. The cookies flew in the air in a slow motion, and one rose in front of me, rotating in the air, glistening like a garnet. So close! I closed my eyes tight and ready to succumb to my ugly death, but instead of the hard floor, I hit something softer, something warmer. Shane caught me. I immediately separated from him and glanced at the floor. The cookies were spread across the rooms, most landing on their jam-filled tops. They were unsalvageable. Tears prickled my eyes, and I clenched my fist and held them back. This wasn't the time. Not only were we having so much fun, a small sniffle escaped from me, and then something gently pressed against the top of my head. It was a quick pet, nothing else, but it eased my heart. It's okay, we got some sandwiches to make. I took a deep breath and straightened out my skirt, trying to stay positive. And a tournament to get ready for. It's tomorrow. Nervous? Only a little. I figured. We still got class this morning. Let's make those sandwiches and head out. Oh, right. Let's get to it. I woke up the next day, butterflies going through my stomach. The tournament, how would things go? I had months of time to prepare, but in the end I didn't spend much time practicing, especially not compared to Ian. Would I really be able to beat him? If I had wanted to join the Normal Boots Club. But at least I had the picnic with Shane to look forward to. So long, I didn't mess it up. With these thoughts in my head, I changed to my Asagao uniform and crept out of the room. It was early on a Saturday morning. After a late night, I wanted to let my sleep. I stepped out in the fresh spring air, taking a deep breath. My event was one of the first ones to go, and I had to be there earlier than most. Plus, it took a little time to get to Hibanawa. I set my shoulders and started across the campus. The arcade in which the tournament was being held was much smaller than I expected. I felt like I'd find some kind of convention, but instead it was a small local arcade filled with machines. Smaller rooms split up, which was probably where the individual competitions would take place throughout the day. A few people milled about the space, and generally older folk in their 20s and 30s. I glanced at my agenda in hand, and I made my way to one of the back rooms. When I entered the competition room, I found 2 chairs on an elevated platform, a computer and a projector there, sitting there between them. I hooked up 2 separate controllers. Ian sat in one of the chairs, looking bored out of his mind.
Good morning.
Hey.
It's about time you showed up. I was starting to get worried that you died. Aw, that's sweet of you to be concerned. Is it? Yeah. I got into the chair next to him and a man came over to me to check my name and club affiliation. I said I was part of the Normal Blues Club, a small surprise making me sit up straight as I said it. There were stairs lined up for people to watch us compete, and to my surprise, the entire room was soon filled. I searched the crowd to find the Normal Blues Club. They were here. I waved quietly at Shane, but Shane stood from his chair, and as I watched, left the room. What happened? I stared weirdly into the crowd. A blur of movement caught my eye. Luke was sitting in a chair at the fringe of the audience with the rest of the Hidden Blocks Club, waving frantically at me. When he saw me looking, he gave me a big thumbs up. He rolled his eyes.
Really?
Would it kill you to root for your own teammate? I giggled. Finally, the lights around us dimmed and the projector started up, showing the main menu of Double Do's Revenge on screen. It was time to start. As the MC began his introduction to explain the rules of the game, Ian turned to me with a smirk on his face. Sure you ready for this?
Yeah.
You bet I am! Ready to go? The man turned to us and Ian and I nodded. Then, 3, 2, 1, start! The game began. I immediately clicked to fill my screen with 2 or more lines of blocks. Ian began working what I had. I scanned to the blocks for the pink hearts, immediately eliminating one by one, making combos where I could. I was still not advanced enough to plan tons of combos ahead of time, but I probably could make it with much more likely combos to happen through probabilities. The pinks were all gone, but green leaves were next. Double Do started flipping at the top of the screen. Ian was coming, which means I had a few seconds before those blocks would fall. I set up a combo on the top of the screen and started eliminating the orange one blocks below it. Then it happened. A 6th combo jumped out in front of me on my screen. My eyes crossed as I stared in shock. I just had to move the top block over one space, and then quickly as I saw it, it vanished. The block looked normal again. You're dead! Ian's block fell upon my humble kingdom, and I slid the combo into place. 2, 3, 4, combo 5, combo 6, combo 7, combo 8 combo! Ian's attacks converted to blocks and hovered over mine. I set up several more combos and waited for them to fall. 10 combo legendary! Double Dude started farting out rainbows all over Ian's zone, then blocks. So many blocks. They didn't come in a chunk. They came in a torrential downpour all over Ian's side from left to right and back again. Ian blinked. His hands and eyes moved frankly over the screen. I wasn't sure that he'd seen something like that before. I sure he hadn't. I continued to combo while this was happening, but at this point there was no need. Ian's screen was filled up. He was trying to make combos until the very end, but game over! That was it. I won. I stared, dumbfounded at the screen in front of me. Ian's mouth hung open. The room was silent. Then,
Whoa!
Yeah, Hannah!
Yeah.
I knew you could do it! I glanced up to see the room applauding. All of it, even the Hidden Blocks Club. The announcer was gapping on the screen. I've never seen a score that high! Certain I was red as tomato, I stood off to climb off the platform. Not so fast. Ian stepped in front of me, grim as always. I braced myself for his infamous sarcasm. To my surprise, he laughed.
Hana.
That was a hell of a game, Hana. That's exactly what I wanted from you. He held out his hand in the air and I looked in confusion. Don't leave me hanging.
Yeah.
Oh! I high-fived him and he clasped my hand in his. Thanks, Hana. That was fun. Then he disappeared into the pressing crowd. I scrambled through them as well, eager to find Shane. See? I did it. I won the tournament. I wanted to shout at him and rub in his face for not believing in me as much as he tried near the end. But as I scouted the room, I realized Shane wasn't there. He never came back. But why not? Oh, his event is out next. Of course, that's why. I had to go cheer him on. I dashed into the main arcade room. A smile couldn't wipe off my plastered onto my face. By the time I found him, Shane was already sitting down next to Jeff. A large prize screen stood in front of them, which was lined with dozens upon dozens of chairs. This was apparently quite a popular event. Seeing the other normally smother gather around in one room, front rows, I dashed up next to him and grabbed a seat.
Hana.
Penny, ready for this? I sat up straight and cheered on Shane with the rest of the normal boots as he chose his racer. He picked Sal, an anthropomorphic salamander with black skin and orange spots. My personal favorite, he was the lightest, made the sharp turns. Jeff picked Frogward. He was a massive frog, but on the opposite of Sal. He turned wide, but his accelerated speed let him go fast if he wasn't turning. He was a hard character to play, but if you knew how to play him correctly, he'd be considered the best. He was fun, and Mai loved him, but Mai was terrible with any character. I had a first-hand experience of this. Each person chose their own track, and then it was the final track, Rainbow Race, the dazzling multicolored spectacle that inspired by the prettiest acid trip ever taken. To my great surprise, rather than the regular MC presiding over the race, instead PBG stood in front of the room and grabbed a microphone. Okay, each racer has chosen the best track, and now we're starting. Who do you think will be the winner? Probably Shane. Hey, Jeff has as much a chance as Shane does. You're right. Made the best men secure the win for their team. A small tadpole floating up the bubble of water wafted side of the screen, counting down from the start of the race. 3, 2, 1. PPG pulled out a checkered cloth and wiped it widely as the tadpole squealed, "Go!" Jeff and I spun around the starting line. What the fuck, PPG? Where do you even get that? PPG shoved the flag on the floor and grinned sheepishly. I always wanted to do that. It's fine. Just don't do it again. The first wave was Jeff's choice. I felt more like a drag race than anything else. It was one straight line, but there was a lot of obstacles to avoid on the track. Jeff won, unsurprisingly. Sal just bounced everywhere. Luckily, Shane pulled into the tie next race for far more ability to make short, quick turns, and pulled the number up. Finally, it was time for Rainbow Race. I could see the strain in Shane's face, his jaw clenched tight. You can do it, Shane! A slight smile crossed his face, and his race was started. PBG raised his checkered cloth again.
No.
3 seconds after that word left their mouths, the race began. Shane started off the lead for the entire lap until Jeff Hilton with the blue slime and sped ahead of him. Dirty move.
Yeah,
You
alright!
snooze, you lose. Or, you Shane, you strain. Don't do this to me, Jeff. Shane was now struggling to catch up with Jeff, and I bit my lip. Shane, kick his ass! At last 3 seconds, Shane pulled ahead and crossed the finish line in first place. John jumped up from his seat, hugging PBG, nearly knocking him over. Jeff shook Shane's hand and pulling each other into a big bro hug. John lifted his fist in the air, bellowing through the room.
Yeah!
Noverboats wins! After a few minutes, the cheering died down. Shane's face, still slightly pink, approached me.
Hey.
Thank you for support, Hannah. And good job. You mean you're not mad at me? Why would I be angry with you? You up and walked out of the middle of my event. Oh, right. Sorry. Didn't want to make you nervous and ruin your event. I glared at him, but I didn't find that. Apparently, Gerard didn't want either.
Hold the phone.
But Shane, I thought you said Hannah made you nervous, not the other way around. Oh, well, I guess that makes more sense. Ugh. Shane smacked his face and shoved Gerard away from us. I smirked at him. I get weird feelings when you're around, and I was afraid it would compromise my racing skill. You mean butterflies in your stomach? That's so cute, Shane. Those are normal. Well, they need to get out. What an asshole. Shane and I ambled around the arcade, playing random games as the time went on. We recited almost any encyclopedic knowledge of every game we encountered. So much so, it made my head spin.
Did you know?
Did you know there are only 40 copies of this cabinet in existence? Oh, Shane, I did not know. Finally, it was time for the MC to announce the winner of the tournament. We all crowded around him and preened in the spotlight, a bright grin on his face. Thank you all so much for attending our tournament this year. Did we win? Both Shane and I won our events. Not everyone won their events, though, surely. And the winner of this year's tournament is... the Normal Boots Club!
Hey!
Yeah.
We did it! I screamed and clapped as we swarmed on stage. The poor MC didn't know what hit him. As we celebrated, Jerry grabbed the microphone.
Alright.
Everyone, I am pleased to announce we have a new club member in our midst.
Hana.
Hana Misunu, where are you? Shane took my hand and gently led me up the front of on stage. The crowd cheered as I tried to find somewhere to hide my face. Welcome to the club, Hana. Something warm and soft covered my shoulders. I turned to see Shane lifting my very own Normal Boots jacket over my shoulder, a blush lighting my face. Welcome to the club.
Shane.
When the celebrations finally ended, Shane and I walked back to his Asagao hand in hand. I told you I could do it! You did, and I'm proud of you. Are we still on for the picnic tomorrow then?
Yeah.
Of course! I'll pick you up then. I think... Shane stopped mid-sentence, only blinking at me.
Bye.
Okay, having a good day. He turned on his heel and stalked away. Again. I hope you wouldn't make this habit. Shaking my head, drawing my jacket closer to me, I headed to the Primrose house. I almost couldn't sleep. I was so excited and nervous. I poked fun at me. Who gets excited over something as chill as a picnic? And they gave me a soft pink blanket just before we tuned in. It's my favorite. It'll bring you lots of good luck. With that in hand, I rose early. I got ready for the picnic. I was still sleeping, and the tournament took place the same day as one of her biggest games, and I doubted she'd be bothered getting out of bed before noon. Sorry. Shane knocked right on time as always. Just before I went to the door, I passed my new Normal Boots jacket. With a grin, I slipped it over my shoulders. The newest member of the Normal Boots Club.
Hey.
I see you're up on time.
Yeah.
Of course I am. Ready to go? Yep, I remember to pick up our sandwiches. My heart stopped. I turned into the basket in my hand. I forgot! Calm down, Hannah. I got them. He packed the sandwiches on top of the basket and took them from me with an easy grin. Let's get going. The day wasn't as warm as I would have liked, but at least it was sunny out. The weather report was right for once. As Shane and I made our way to the picnic field, we traded jokes and comebacks. I prepared for today. I was definitely going to impress him. Okay, so have you heard this one? Did you know in 1999 game, the Tour of Worlds, hackers have made able to dismantle the code of the game to extract symbols? Oh yeah, that was actually the Tour of Worlds too. Jeez, fine. But did you know they recently curegraphed the symbols and found out they formed a secret phrase?
Relay?
It said, I bet you can't decode this. Shane made a noise akin to something cut out of his horse. Dicks. Not even the point. I know, I wanted to be something more meaningful. It's by Sandstone Studios, right? Terrible. Oh, good fact. I didn't know that. I beamed. Happiness bloomed within me. Hey, don't let it go to your head.
Hey.
Does this spot look good? Anywhere is fine. It's up to you. Let's set up over there then. I set the basket down in the grass. Shane hung his pink blanket over his arm in the midst of a butler. Can you lay out the blanket down while I get the plate set up? It was colder than I imagined it'd be, but I spent so long preparing, there was no way anything big would go wrong. I should be more confident in myself. That's what I thought. Right as I pulled 6 spoons out of my basket. There are only supposed to be 2. Something wrong? Shane flapped the blanket over and watched it float to the ground like a butterfly. Yeah, actually, there's 6 spoons in here. Shane shrugged. So? No, you don't understand. There's 6 spoons. That means... My hand searched for the rest of the basket, almost frantically. That means there are no forks. That's it? We can make do what we got. How many fork-worthy items anyway? He sat down and started helping me unload the basket. I put a hand down to stop him.
No.
I need to check if anything else is wrong. My voice wavered, but only slightly. Shane sighed and reached behind him. Out of his backpack, he pulled a fork. I brought this just in case. In case of what? In case. You can use it. Alright, thanks. I accepted the fork, but still. It wasn't that I needed a fork, it's that I forgot in the first place. I tried my best to push it out of my mind, taking our sandwiches from the basket. I might have messed up, but at least I knew these were good. Shane helped me make them after all. Turkey, avocado for me, and ham and cheese for Shane. As I relished my first bite, I tried not to worry. Shane was right. It wasn't a big deal. The cool breeze invigorated me. Invigorated. Please, Megan. English is your language. And I decided I was going to have a good time no matter what.
Hey.
How's the sandwich? Good. I smiled, covering my mouth in case there was something in my teeth. As I did, a small wind kicked up. It was a chilly wind and I shivered. And then a drop of water hit my glasses. Uh-oh. Is it raining? Shane mopped his chew, pulling his palm into the air. I don't feel anything. Like him, I gazed up again. There were some clouds, but they were mostly light, fluffy ones. Right, I need to calm down. But it was hard to stay optimistic at this point. Shane must have not noticed the look on my face because he slipped his hand into mine. I smelled at the ground, willing my palms to stay dry. Sorry if my hand is sweaty. We were worried about the same thing? A devilish idea came to my mind and I did my best to hide my grin. It feels like you just washed your hands and barely dried them. Shit. He realized already that he blew his hole and tried to wiggle out my grasp, but I held on. Nope. Don't worry about it, really. A cold drop hit my head and I looked up. Dark clouds were moving fast above us, like God drawing a blanket over the sky. Another splat splashed against my cheek. No. Looks like it's gonna rain.
No!
No, the weather report said sunny all day!
Well,
Sometimes this could be wrong, Hannah. I let go of his hand, and I held my palm towards the sky, daring another drop to fall. Shane's eye were up the sky as well. Weather reports aren't always accurate. The dark clouds pillowed over us, but I refused to believe it. Shane pulled his hand out again for me to hold. Let's just go back to the dorm. We can have a picnic another day. It's not a big deal. That's not the problem. I know we can have another picnic another day. I know we can make fish sticks and crumpets and...
what?
Crumpets? You're still on about that. I just wanted one thing to go right, Shane. Just one thing. Everything I've tried to do for you, it ends up a total mess or ends up almost killing you. Maybe sometimes it was just bad luck, but after a while, the only conclusion was I was the problem. A gust of wind blew through. Several droplets landed on me, donning the lenses of my eyes. Shane seemed at a loss, and I didn't blame him. Not only was the picnic being ruined by rain, but now I was ruining my stupid emotional outburst. I know now I'm making it worse. My voice cracked. Hannah. The dam broke. My tears flew freely, as did the rain, right on cue. Shane put his hand around my shoulder. Not even the blurry eyes could I see his jacket getting wetter and wetter. I shrugged off his touch. From the first moment you met me, you absolutely hated me. I wanted to join the club, and you warned everyone against me. When I was asked to be in the tournament, you told me I couldn't do it. I made those damn crumpets, the last thing I wanted to cause you pain. The sophisticated sky seemed to be emptying out all they had at this point. Maybe you don't hate me, but... Shane raised an eyebrow at me. Rain dripped off his nose. This night might have been true, but... Hannah. He said it like a warning, like he wanted me to spit it out. I balled my hands into his fist, gathering all my courage. I was finally gonna tell him. I felt like I was just replacement for Emily! Shane stared at me in shock. I would have thought time had stop how the droplets of rain not continue dripping off his hair. He was so taken back I was flattered. Was it wrong to feel this way?
No.
You aren't. But... No buts, Hannah. Step closer to me. We're only a few inches apart now. You're more than anything I could have asked for and I could have hoped for. Emily was holding me back and I heard. You helped me bloom. And with another step, he closed his distance between our soaked lips. The flood in my mind cleared and a bed of flowers burst to life in its place. I instinctively leaned into it, that moment feeling protected from the entire world. Shane brought a hand to my neck and pulled me closer until our soaked garments were one. Finally pulled away, thumb resting on my jawline, beads of water hanging off his eyelashes. I do like you, okay? It's just that you had it hard for me to show it. The darkness skies were interrupted by a clap of thunder in the distance. For an instant, illuminating us both with a flash of white light. This is still so scary for me. He was smiling so sincerely, it was hard for me to look at him. But I know I'm okay, because it's with you. I like you too, but you already knew that, didn't you? He smiled sheepishly and nodded. Most of his year was spending trying to ignore that fact, probably. Shane glanced at the sky and then turned it into his magical backpack. He fucking brought an umbrella. He threw an umbrella above us and a gentle smile on his face. You! I figured you might forget something like this.
Shane.
I really wanted to kiss him again. I put my hand to his face and moved forward, our lips connecting a second time. I thought this would happen at the flower festival. Really now? I completely forgot you were going to draw me. You kept saying things like, "Are you ready? Are you okay?" and suggested, "Alright." Shane laughed. I muted his low, salty voice. Sorry it took so long. His apologetic smile warmed the depth of my rain-soaked heart. He put his hand outside the umbrella, shaking his head. How about we get back to the dorms? I nodded. It was getting cold in these clothes. He held out his free hand and took it again. This time, no doubts in my mind. I giggled to myself the whole way back. When we got back to the dorm, the rain almost darkened to the sky, where the point I couldn't tell if it was day or night. You're not doing anything else tonight, right? No, I'm really tired. Crying your eyes out usually does a number on a person. I think Gerard is going to be at John's till late tonight if... He trailed off, eyes glued to the floor. I leaned forward to catch his attention, hands clasped behind my back.
Well...
I got the new Dog Cop movie. Are you inviting me to watch a movie in your room after you co-ed time's almost over? I'm trying. You think I, Hannah Mizune, with the first New Normal Boots club member in years. I'm gonna risk detention for you. Shane grasped like a fish.
Yeah.
Well, you thought right. Let's go. I led the way only because it was already in front. They opened the door and his always clean room. Once again, I put my room to shame. Shame. Shane directly went over to a specific span of bookshelf. He slipped into a yellow DVD and then handed it to me before grabbing his laptop. The cover of the DVD was a graphic design disaster. The yellow background was so bright it was blinding, overlaid with a terrible red font. Drops of blood hang off the letters symmetrically, and the main character on front. It was a police officer with the head of a beagle. This doesn't look good. Shane crawled into bed next to me, pulling a light knitted blanket over us and swallowed hard. You missed pretty much the entire thing, Nerditude. I don't think I've ever been focused in a boy's bed. Hana, you're just watching a movie. Just a movie. Focus.
Yeah.
It's gonna be awful. Did you watch the first one? I shook my head. Never even heard of it. Shane didn't seem like the one for indie films either. From in England got me though. I like one of the actors. Nothing happens in the first one, so you're not missing much. I looked down at the cover again, with a tracing bloody tube with my eyes. They couldn't even choose a German Shepherd, you know, an actual police dog? Don't judge the dog by its face, Anna. I threw his pillow at him, he blocked it with ease. A slight grin was interrupted by the telltale signs of an itch on his nose. Achoo! Oh no, getting sick? I realized I was still holding the pillow, so if I was going to swing it again, I put it down. Shane winced, fingers pinching his nose. Maybe it's the dust. He eyed the pillow and the blankets we were sitting under. You know, if I want, I only tried it once in this room. Excuse me?
Yeah.
A blanket fort. That was not where I thought it would go. Neither was I. Shane chuckled at my face.
Well...
It is a little drafty in here. A pillow fort could be fun. He lit up like a Christmas tree and I laughed. Well, get off then! Shane grabbed the blanket I was sitting on and a wicked expression adorning his face. Don't you dare, he pulled. I rolled straight onto the floor, squeaking in surprise. And I scrambled to my feet, face on fire. Shane! I threw my pillow as hard as I could at him, and he clutched his stomach, doubled over with laughter. He yelped a bit and then clasped his right pinky, pure pain in his face. Oh shit, I'm sorry! Still clutching his injured little finger, Shane gawked at me. Did you just say shit? I covered my mouth. I guess I did. I never heard you swear before. What have I done? Now I thought about it, Shane swore a lot around me. I've learned from the best. More importantly, your finger, did I hurt it? He made a face and shook his fingers out again. No, I think the pillow just hit it wrong. Man, a broken finger because of a pillow?
What?
Is it broken?
No.
No, I was exaggerating. Oh, I rubbed my nose, my eyes tearing up. I don't suppose you're allergic to dust either. Not that I know of. Shane grit his teeth and looked around the room. I knew exactly what he was thinking. We're both getting sick. At least I waited until after the tournament. Yeah, but exams are next week. Great. Stress settled down like a cloud over us. That was no good. I grabbed the blanket that Shane pulled out from underneath me. Where should I put this? The fort won't build itself. You know, since I only have one blanket, let's tuck it onto Gerard's mattress. As Shane and I built the fort, memories flooded back from the beginning of the year. I was a little upset and homesick, and I pulled together a fort in our bedroom. Shane hated me back then, but now I was making a fort with him.
Yeah.
Perfect. We stepped in the back to admire our handiwork. A single blanket hanging from Gerard's bed clipped into 2 chairs. You're a lot more perfect if you have more than one blanket.
Yes.
I have a bunch of pillows. He pulled a second pillow from his bunk and immediately chucked it at me. Okay, I deserved that. Raising an eyebrow, I picked it up. Shane pulled another from his arsenal, eyes glinting. There was no pillow. He was no pillow fight casual. The battle was long and hard. Small bits of fluffs and feathers exploded from the pillows as we attacked each other. Finally, I was exhausted. Shane bopped me on the head with his pillow, and I was sent off balance, falling onto his bed. I couldn't stop the giggles from pouring out of me. You okay? Shane peeked inside the sheet curtain and stretched his hand to help me up. I threw my pillow at his face. You worry too much. I smiled and laid back against the pillow. Oh. I shot back up and ran a hand over the back of his head. I looked at my head, not his head. I looked behind me, spinning in my sitting position. My bow!
What?
My bow, it's gone. I twisted every way, panicking as I looked for the red ribbon. It's been gone for a few minutes.
Really?
I didn't notice? I patted the back of my head again, as it would suddenly reappear. I didn't think it was important enough to mention. It's important. Okay, well, let's look for it. Yeah, it has to be in here. It probably got knocked off when I was jumping around. We searched under the bed and across the room, beneath the blankets, but nothing turned up. I forced myself to stay calm. I'll keep looking for it, but now maybe we should just forget about it.
No!
I shouted at him. Shane's brow instantly knit together. Sorry, I mean, I need it. For my look. You're cute without it. His compliments bounced off me. Unaffected. I needed my ribbon.
Hey.
If that's not necessary, I'll buy you another one. Thanks, but I need to find this one. He blinked at me and then moved to the other side of the room and searched again. I felt bad making Shane tear apart his room for me, so I tried to think of it as a joke. Why are pirates called pirates? Dang, I regretted this. I don't know why. Because they are. Shane sneezed from under the bed. He slid out and looked at me from his position on the floor.
What?
Say that again, I couldn't hear. Because... Never mind. He raised his eyebrow again. I changed my mind, it was too painful. He chuckled and crawled back onto the bed. I paused, taking another sweeping look around the room, and tapped him on the leg. I think I'm gonna give up for now.
What?
What? Why? It has to be in my room somewhere. I'm too worried about it to do efficiently. I felt bad for stressing him out. Let's get my mind off it for now. Sure. Did you know murder featuring Hannah Misunu? Want to start dog hop then?
Yeah.
Shane patted the spot next to him and I sank down to join him. I rested my head on his shoulder and yawned. But we haven't even started yet.
Well...
I was up all night setting up this picnic for you. I'm sure dog hop will wake me up. It sounds so exciting. Despite being so close to each other, and in his bed, Shane almost completely fixated on the movie. He didn't even move a muscle, just stared at the screen, as though his life depended on it. It made me feel kind of bad, but he did mention he liked one of the actors. Oh no, I felt another sneeze coming on. The bus sneeze! Shane sighed, reaching for the darkness and dropping a box of tissue in front of us. We both continued to watch the movie. My neck started to hurt. I shifted a bit with a sniffle and tried not to disturb Shane too much. He let me adjust his eye glued to the laptop. I took this chance to sneak closer to him, closing a small distance left between us. I turned to face up, but he was already looking at me. We both smiled. We weren't movie talkers. The dog cop, whose name I learned was Boulder, was traveling across California countryside. He was looking for his long-lost love, a miniature sneeze... Or should I say miniature schnauzer doctor? A dog doctor or a doctor? Named Peanut. I rolled my eyes. They embraced passionately at their reunion, talking about their future together. After the 12th minute of this, Shane yawned. I nervously touched the back of my head. Again, still no bow. So do you think I'm cute?
Yes.
Of course! He turned to me, kept his eyes on Mr. and Mrs. Dog for as long as he could. Maybe they should try something maybe you should try different hairstyles, find the ones you like. But I do like it tied back too. He shrugged, gaze flickering back to the touching scene on the screen. Maybe I'll grow it out again. Again? It was down to my mid-back for most of my life. Until about a year before I came here, actually. What made you cut it? Nothing specific, it just kind of sort of happened. He glared at me and I knew the answer wouldn't fly with him. I didn't choose this hairstyle, per se.
What?
What? Your dad? No. Then who? I sighed deeply, not wanting to spoil the mood with something like this.
Well,
I was bullied for most of my life for my hair. We don't have to talk about this if you don't want to. I should have told you sooner. Then maybe... I stopped, but Shane made a face, and I bit my lip. Maybe you would have stopped targeting me because of my hair. Not that you still do. You definitely did earlier in the year. Shane lowered his head, both in acknowledgement and an apology. Okay, now I'm more curious. It was one of the biggest reasons I moved here. Shane quickly tapped the spacebar, pausing the dog mid-frolic, and then he gave me his full attention. I guess it's story time. I invited my best friend over for a sleepover. Most of my former friends group abandoned me, but she was still there for me. I didn't even originally want to have the sleepover, but my dad insisted. He saw I was struggling and I didn't know what to do. When she came, things were just like old times. She didn't mention any of what I was being accused of. I felt like maybe things would eventually get better. But I fell asleep at first. I woke up to the sound of scissors snipping. Michelle was holding pink locks of hair and laughing. My hair, she cut it all off. My dad understanding, he kept telling me it was cute and everyone would like my new haircut. But I didn't go back to school after that. That's why my dad spent all this money to get me into Asagao. It was the only way I agreed to go back to school. Honestly, I didn't think I'd get in. The day before I left, I was still anxious about my hair. My dad came into my room with a red ribbon. He said it was my mother's. He tied up my hair, and for the first time in a long time, I felt cute. You were always cute. Well, maybe, but I didn't feel that way. I was amazed. I didn't cry talking about all this. It was the hardest few years of my life, but with Shane next to me, they didn't seem so terribly bad. Shane blinked at me for a few moments and reached to the side of his bed. He tossed a pile of papers onto my lap. I read the title, Best Flower in the Garden. What is this? I opened to the first page, inside a watermark comic about a boy and a girl. The girl had pink hair. She was standing plainly dressed boy who looked like Shane. They seemed to be friends. In the beginning, the boy was afraid to get close to the girl, who I now put a name to, Emma. Emma had bright beams of light coming off her, but the boy kept trying to reach the girl inside him, but couldn't. I skimmed through the page after page, and soon the boy got his own beams of light, one by one, spending time with Emma. On the last page, they were holding hands in the garden, rainbow lights coming off them both.
Shane.
Hannah, I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. I should have never judged you or made fun of your hair. Shane is fine, completely fine. You don't think the comic is weird? Of course not. It's beautiful. It really is. I looked down at the cover in my hands, reading the title one more time. Remember when you told me at the rooftop garden that your name means flower? It's the most beautiful flower in the garden?
Yeah.
Of course. Shane pulled me into a hug, warm and comforting. I buried my head into his chest, inhaling deeply. He was wearing cologne. Oh. He stopped suddenly, pulling back. Something slithered out of the back of my jacket. My bow! It must have fallen down back there. See? You would have found it eventually. I quickly tied the ribbon back of my hair. How does it look? You look perfect. I buried my head into his chest out of pure relief. Thank you, sincerely. Gerard is probably coming back soon, and it's past the hours I can be here. I didn't really want to leave the end of this roller coaster of a day, but I could understand he wouldn't want me gone. I wheeled around trying to get my things at the edge of the bed, but Shane wouldn't let me go. At least finish Dog Cop. I rolled my eyes, pretended to be bad, and Shane shot through it. I slouched back into his arms. No, it wasn't in his sleeve, it was in Hana's. So we finished the Dog Cop in silence. Boulder saved the world with his dog guns and cranny dog one-liners. He settled down with a new dog wife, Peanut, in a cozy doghouse in the American Midwest. The credits rolled, showing both the names of the human body model and the dog head model. Boulder's Dalmatian sidekick body was named Shane. I elbowed Shane to get his attention.
Hey.
Oh look, his name! I didn't get an answer. I leaned over. Shane's eyes were closed. He was breathing softly, the deep breaths of vulnerable. I breathed deeply, still mostly awake. The credits finished and the title screen began again. I quietly closed his laptop and tried to get up. Before I could, Shane grabbed my waist and pulled me back.
Hey.
Tomorrow's a Sunday. Jar won't mind. I smiled. I could tell this is what he wanted? Okay. I lay down next to him. Still have butterflies? More than ever. Me too. If things could stay like this forever, I'd be the happiest person alive. I snuggled into Shane's arm and fell asleep much faster than I thought. Best end. Fucking hardest route. Damn fucking straight. Well, that was Shane's story. How long that took me? It started at like 9:30, so it took me 2.5 hours. I guess because of my bias against Shane, like, I still, like, I hate him because he's such an asshole, and especially in Satch's route. Holy fuck, is he an asshole. Hold on, I gotta scratch my leg. It's cute, but I like the other guys better. I mean, Shane doesn't even like Shane, for God's sakes. That's how much of an asshole he is. Like, the hidden roots, the hidden blue, one of the hidden roots is, hidden block. Like, the entirety of it. It's gonna be uploaded to YouTube immediately. My Satch Roots is already uploaded. You can check the description for any roots that you've missed. Watch them order, please. I gotta do like a playlist for it. Oh, why is my back itchy? I need to eat lunch / breakfast because I haven't eaten yet. I just kind of was really in the mood, and I'm being bugged to finish some shit that I need to finish. The epilogue scene finally has you kick Shane in the dick, right? Dicks. Alright, so that's all the roots that I had open right now. So next up is going to be the Continue crew and Paul. It's mainly Paul that it is. I want to save Jared for last because I feel like he's going to be a good root. Last out of the, you know, no boots. Are you excited? Excited? Are you kidding me? I'm absolutely terrified. I've never been on a plane before, let alone flown 12 hours to the other side of the world. We're going all the way to Britain? Shane chuckled, taking my hand in his. You'll love it. Once you're in the air, you'll get all the quiet time you want. And we'll be together. But that means if we crash, I'll lose my life and the life of the person who matters most to me all in one go. I guess there's nothing I could do to convince you. Shane leaned in and kissed me. As he did, my heart stilled. I lost myself in the comfort of his embrace. After a few seconds, he pulled away, a sly grin on his face. Feel better now? Maybe? I'll just have to kiss you every time you get nervous. You'll be so much work, you know that? I shoved him, not even wanting to hear it. You'll have to get used to having me around. We'll be sharing a bed after all. Shane! I'm just saying, my family house is tiny, and they don't pretend like they don't know what young couples get up to. Shane! Shane grinned at me again. He wants the dick! The next day I would be in England eating dinner with Shane's family, or more likely passed out from jet lag. He insisted I meet his family before we graduated the academy. I had no idea why, but I had my hopes. Still, no matter what happened or what adventures we faced, I knew we could do it, because Shane was by my side.
Asagao Academy, Normal Boots Club.
Well, that's the end of Shane's route. I'm still fucking salty over him, I guess. Oh, there he is. There's the pictures of Shane. His pictures are boring, too. I hate Shane. I hate Shane so much. I'm gonna get flack for that, but I do. Yet even his word is boring. I'm a dick. I really am. I should never talk to her dad. Oh, God. I don't know. I guess I just have like two. Like, I finished Sat's route yesterday. Or was it yesterday? Yeah, I think it was yesterday. Yesterday I finished Sat's route, so I guess I was kind of like salty from that. I don't know who the best route is. Like, Gerard is pretty, like I can't say who the best route is when I haven't watched all of them yet. I haven't even seen Jared's route. Like, fuck it, this is I fucking love the pictures. I love this picture the most. I really do. It's like cool, kind of like seeing like a ghost of the past. All salt, no chill. Alright guys, well, I'm not sure if I'll stream, like, I'll definitely be streaming again tonight at 7. Stop with the salt in the chat, please. I'm not squeeing over PVG. Ears can't bleed any further. I'm not sure if I will stream again tonight. If I am gonna stream again tonight, it'll be Paul's Route or Stardew Valley like I usually do. But yeah, YouTube audience is probably gone by now. They don't care about this shit. But I've been actually getting a little bit of a following. People, apparently, the full routes aren't being uploaded to YouTube yet, and I'm the only one who's doing it. And, like, I've seen comments saying this lady's a blessing, so I'm pretty happy that this is actually bringing me some followers and stuff. If any of you are from YouTube, please tell me if you're from YouTube in my Twitch chat. I'll give you some love. I'll give you some love here if you found me through YouTube. I love it. I really appreciate all the new people coming, and I'll have shit on my main channel soon enough. Oh, you are the audience. You are from my YouTube. Okay, cool. And you got to... I don't ever stream this early, by the way. I just really want to get Shane's Root out of the way. But if anything, I'll have the Shane's Root uploaded to YouTube tonight. And I'll probably be doing Paul's Root tonight as well. Because I just can. I'll have enough energy by that point. I got addicted, yeah. Sorry for the John root being so long, and I am droning on. YouTube, you can just leave. I'm just droning on to my audience. But thank you for subscribing. Thank you so much. I will have shit to my main channel soon enough, and I'll make a note of it in my stream when I ever do. I'm not sure what to do for my main channel. Fuck off, Starbucks. But I think I might be doing reviews of games I stream. I'm not quite sure yet, but I think that will be what I want to do. Because I don't want to do Let's Plays. I definitely don't. I feel like if I ever got popular enough, it'd be too much stress on me. Kills you to get 30 seconds. Oh yeah, because... That's why I want to have like a main channel and full streams channel, so people can just watch what they want. And I don't want to have a Let's Play channel. It's fucking annoying. Anyways, I guess that's why I'm getting a lot of viewers, because I upload the fucking whole route. Anyways, thank you everyone for subscribing, and like, I really appreciate this. I never thought I'd be able to get fans this quickly. Like, honestly, I love it. Fans, quote unquote fans. But I very appreciate all the new subscribers. I looked this morning, like the last time, I went from 2 subscribers. Yep, you'll get that lunch faster. I don't want to eat craft dinner because I'll be fat. I want to lose weight. This is all going to be uploaded to YouTube because I don't edit these. All hearts of food. You're right, guys. I love you all. Hearts to you. I'll think of a catchphrase maybe one day. But I do have a catchphrase. See you later, alligators. That's so fucking stupid. But fuck it. See you later, alligators. I'll see you tonight. Fuck it, I'll do Paul's Root tonight. See you tonight. Be here at 7 p.m. Eastern, and we'll do it. Too bad this root will already be uploaded by then. After that. End stream! Bye-bye! Love you all!